What is going on, everybody? Sorry, you had told me that I was going to be doing the hosting duties. You're just kind of here as a pinch hitter right now until our other man comes in.
Okay, he is coming. Okay, cool. I didn't see that.
Yeah,
very good.
He did message the group chat, said he'd be a few minutes late, but he's coming.
Very
so
good.
Again, welcome everybody to Open Mic Night here on the Jeff Meacham Network, the Casa D18 Studios, FTW, Jay Hebert Studios, Noah's channel. I'm sorry, I forget the name of your channel, Noah.
Good. Simple Man Studios. It's as simple
There
as
we go.
that.
Simple Man Studios. I love it. It's as simple as that. That's the perfect tagline. But welcome, everybody. We've got 5 topics for this evening that we are going to address. That's right. Much like Booker T, the 5-time champion, even though he's 6 because he got one in WWE. But you know,
5-time champion.
That's the big WCW, and don't worry, folks. No one's doing a spinner room.
No, definitely not. No, Josh. There is nothing about Vince allegations today. Pop, welcome. Greetings from Bali. Nice to see that you've joined us. Cece, thank you for being there. Hassan, Josh, of course, thank you for joining the chat. But yeah, we've got 5 topics today. Gonna try to not dwell on some of these too terribly long because there's a couple of them that I know are gonna light some fires in the room. You know, you want to talk about the proverbial dumpster fire? We've definitely got that as our technical main event, but we did come up with something to kind of, bring things back to a happy, funny after that this time instead of just ending it with that. So, Josh, stealing my entry. Gotta love
Stealing
it
this shit
there.
again, as usual.
That's right. Stealing my shit. It's all good.
He can watch, but he can't apparently come on the panel, but he can take your taglines like nothing.
To be fair, Josh, number one, I wasn't going to in the air today. And number two, I've been talking so much in preparation, I'm trying to cut the phlegm at this point for real. Like, that's the only reason I poured what I did, just to get the phlegm, not to make you all graphically gross in the first 5 minutes, but
Is that like
Anyway.
Ahmed? How do you spell that? A C
C.
phlegm.
That's it. Yeah.
I remember that.
Probably should be interesting trying to get around the happiest place on earth with a freaking smoker's cough.
Josh, you are absolutely right. It is your gimmick at this point to steal the stuff that I say. But you know what? If anyone is going to do it, I have no problem with you being the man to do it.
That's right.
You are a favorite of mine, Josh. I salute you. So
Good man.
Raymond, thank you very much for the props on the Elvis review. But before we get into the first topic, let me just say I touched on it a little bit on the review. We didn't really know exactly what we were going into when we went to go see that movie.
Right.
Like, we knew it was going to be about Elvis. We knew it was going to focus on his relationship with Colonel Tom Parker. But we didn't know how deep and dark and like nasty that relationship really was. Like, I was going in to see it because I'm a huge Tom Hanks fanatic. I mean, hell, I did 1.5 months last year on my channel devoted to the man.
Yes.
But we both left the theater, CC and me together. We were like, man, that was way better than either one of us really had prepared ourselves for. I'm calling it now. Oscar nominations for Austin Butler as Elvis.
Good.
You heard it here first. If he doesn't, I'll be shocked.
Right.
And Tom very well could get a supporting actor nod for his role as Colonel Tom.
Yep.
But anyways, our first topic today, Mr. Man with the graphics there. We're going to discuss a little bit about Money in the Bank. Now, I know Money in the Bank has already occurred, but did you know it was the most viewed Money in the Bank event in history? We had the second highest gate in Money in the Bank history, the most viewed event in history, merch sales up 95% from the year prior, all without no Roman Reigns, no Brock Lesnar, no Cody Rhodes, no Legends appearance. The only real surprise, and I'm going to get on this one, was the addition of Austin Theory to the men's match.
Right.
No partnership with another company. But man, I think that says something major for WWE. And the fact that this B, or we can even call it a C-rated show that could not sell out the freaking stadium there in Vegas. Granted, they were trying to run opposite of UFC and Dana White, and Vince just should have known that was a no-no from the jump. But the fact that it did that great a business, welcome, James. Perfect timing. This is the first topic.
Yep.
Noah, I'm going to start with you. You know, what do you feel that this says about the current WWE product? You know, are they finally righting the ship after all these years? Or was it maybe just people tuning in on the heels of all the scandal that's going on in WWE to see, you know, what may or may not be done within the confines of the PLE?
I think it's a combination of both, really. When you consider the fact that up till Money in the Bank, everything was concerning the controversy around Vince McMahon and the allegations and all the reports that have basically given as much publication to WWE have probably in the last decade than we can last remember. Whether good or bad, the whole world's been paying attention, particularly to Vince McMahon and the WWE. So just the thought of that in any way maybe affecting this show or other details coming to light maybe during it and people getting on their phones and talking about it, I think has a part of it too. I also consider the fact that how Universal connected WWE is, where you can watch this literally on, again, it's a piss poor applet, but again, it's in more households, it's a streaming based service. They also worked within a venue that they were able to sell. Because again, they were not able to sell a stadium. And truth be told, this is the first Money in the Bank for real that was really full fledged since we got through the pandemic. Now, truth be told, the premium live event before this was Money in the Bank last year. That was the first major thing that had all the people beyond the Raw and the SmackDown when we finally got through the age of quarantine. But this year, everything felt a lot more normal. So, again, I just feel it comes down to the fact now that we're kind of in a state of normalcy when it comes to the representation of sports entertainment, except now it's just a lot more accessible and they work more within their means. It comes down to people, I feel, were content with what they were going to get, but there was maybe a bit of curiosity towards what they thought they could learn or could get. But hey, kudos to WWE. I can't argue with business. Seems to be going well for them. Bad or indifferent compared to the people within the company. There's a reason why WWE still exists. I just wonder how the infrastructure inside is going to continue.
James, same question to you. How do you feel, does it mean that this is starting to be a turnaround for the company, or was it just the whole scandal and people wanted to see what was going to happen?
I think, again, what Noah said, I think it's a combination of both. I genuinely feel like they're just biding their time and are financially well set off to just basically see if they can just ride on the coattails of their, success without having to do much. Because, again, their money's guaranteed. I think that's all it comes down to. Their money's guaranteed no matter what they do. Because they, they're the top dog when it comes to sports entertainment / professional wrestling, whatever you want to call it. They're always going to be the financial number one, and they have about 90 to almost 100 years to prove that fact. So that's the main reason why. It don't mean I'm going to be watching any more premium live events after SummerSlam going forward, but it is what it is. Not surprising and not shocking.
Well, there's a comment in the chat room about Liv Morgan winning Money in the Bank and cashing in to become champion. Do you think that maybe that had something to do with it as well? I kind of think back to Mick Foley telling the story of when WCW gave away the fact that he was going to win the title on Raw, how you could kind of see all the channels change to Raw so that they could see that monumental event happening. Considering that I'm sure that the viewings aren't just from the initial first run of the broadcast, do you think that Liv may be finally getting that moment where we all have kind of been waiting for her to finally get her first championship, is maybe part of what drove those views, is people finally getting to see her accomplish that dream? James, you first.
I think, yes, definitely, because she was a fan favorite for a lot of people. I think a lot of that has to do with the more social media than anything else, because of how she's just very different when it comes to her character on TV, and they find her as a likable human being in a lot of ways, so they naturally gravitate towards her, and so they tuned in to see her win the big one. Twice, in fact. How they followed it from there, I don't think and you can tell by the way the ratings kind of dipped off. They've already kind of screwed the pooch on it a little bit. But I mean, that comes as no surprise. But as far as Liv Morgan winning the title and winning Money in the Bank, absolutely had a lot to do with it. I guaranteed nobody, I think, would have been tuning in if she wasn't going to win it. And I think a lot of people had their suspicion she wasn't winning either one. So,
Noah, do you care to elaborate?
I definitely echo the sentiment. I've been a fan of Liv Morgan since NXT. I was a fan of the Riot Squad. I thought that Sarah Logan and her were highly underrated. I figured they were putting the rocket on Ruby Riot, but we saw where that goes. Now she's Ruby Soho. And, history is history. But again, she's been at this for 8 years. She's been the cinema favorite. We've wanted her to have that moment. We thought she should have won the Royal Rumble, for example. We thought that her and Rhea should have won the Women's Tag Team Championships. Here she is now finally a singles champion in the WWE in front of a worldwide audience, claiming the moment on what really is the grandest stage for her, and that was Money in the Bank. It kind of reminds me a little bit of how when Bayley won Money in the Bank, and she cashed in on Charlotte, because people didn't want to see Charlotte, for example, beat Becky Lynch after Becky already had a match with Lacey Evans, for example, during that whole tiff. And of course, Bayley, she was the ultimate babyface at that time in the company. I would say right now that Liv Morgan is the predominant babyface in the WWE from a female standpoint that the fans gravitate to. And the fact they were able to provide this moment, and the fact you even got post-YouTube clip of it with Michael Cole and Pat McAfee's live reactions, levels of Mauro Ranallo NXT type excitement, further adds to how important they wanted to make this moment towards the fans of Liv Morgan. Honestly, for me, if it wasn't for the Liv Morgan moment, this show, for me, kind of would have been forgettable, because the Austin Theory thing, again, had people driven out in droves because they were not wanting to see that. So, yeah, I think a major part of it is definitely Liv Morgan getting the moment, and the fact that WWE is so universally accessible.
That's a fair point. And honestly, there's a super chat that came in from Dwayne Atkinson, $5. Hey. Thank you, Dwayne. He actually comments on the Theory thing. He says, is Theory going to get the opposite Roman Reigns push? Push him as a heel. You know what? I am exhausted.
No,
I know you just came into things today, but I've been up since like 7:30 our time. Today was moving day for us.
Fuck.
So we unloaded the storage, brought it up the hill, unloaded the U-Haul. But so Jeff,
this one.
You know what, Jeff? Don't be a dick. You're staying off the camera. So
that is brilliant.
So back to the super chat, though. I'm gonna try this again. Is Theory gonna get the opposite Roman Reigns push? Push him as a heel and have everyone hate him, then turn him heel and hope he gets the Cena reaction. I don't know. I think Theory. I've been high on this kid since the moment I saw him on the main roster. I didn't get to see his NXT stuff like I'm sure you guys did when it was your black and gold NXT. But ever since I saw this kid, I have been really high on him. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think he has the makings to be essentially the next Miz. You know, Miz has finally gotten to that level where he's respected finally, even if people still boo him, don't like him, whatever. He's at least a respected heel, and he's able to branch out. He's got his reality show, Ms. and Mrs., you know, after originally coming from the real world, if you want to get technical. So coming from reality TV and now having a new reality show. But I feel like Theory has what it takes to be that level heel with the way he does the selfies and his promo abilities, his physique. He's a decent enough worker in the ring. I mean, I'm not saying that he's some kind of technical genius. He's no Malenko, Guerrero, Benoit. We'll get to that later. But he's good enough in the ring that he's able to put on entertaining matches, decent matches. So I don't know if it's going to have like the Cena effect on him. I just think he needs to stay in his lane. He is a solid, arrogant, cocky HBK post-Rockers heel.
Right.
He has that sort of mentality where he does draw a reaction to the audience. Like I said, when he won Money in the Bank, people were leaving in droves. We literally saw it in the background. I don't think it was as bad as Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe Backlash main event, but probably was close to that. But that being said, I feel like they really have put a lot of stock into Austin Theory, being maybe one of their top next rising stars in the WWE, up there with Riddle. There's a reason why we've seen Riddle and Theory, for example, in the ring in one-on-one competition. For me, though, Theory has kind of had the attention of WWE, particularly since Evolve, when he was brought forward by Paul Heyman himself. Honestly, Theory, in a way, is a metaphorical Paul Heyman guy. Paul
Okay.
Heyman right now, I feel like is the guy that really has raised the stock of Fury with the fact now you have seen Fury and Paul Heyman at the same time on screen with the looming Money in the Bank. And yes, I do follow Aaron Briss recaps. So yes, no to Q, folks. On SmackDown, I did hear how Paul Heyman looked to maybe suggest that Fury don't cash in on a match before a match because that's where the big money is. As far as that star power or mentality like The Miz, he doesn't seem as soft. And I don't think Fury, for me right now, screams Hollywood movie star. But he definitely has a lot of potential to be definitely one of the mainstays in the WWE going forward. He's constantly been a mainstay part of WWE television, particularly on Monday Night Raw. And now we've seen the crossover with SmackDown, brand split, LOL. But yeah, I feel that they are going to try and do something with Fury similar to Roman Reigns, but to an opposite effect, where they're not going to shove him down our throats as the prototypical babyface you like, but the heel that at one point you hope that it gets off your screen, but not as bad as go away heat as Baron Corbin during a couple of his stints.
James, anything else you want to add to that?
I think a lot of people tuned out because they it's just the nature of the beast of social media. They still believe in the allegations that were put on him, even though he was proven innocent on all accounts, by the way. But don't let the facts get in the way of it. So, he was, that's why a lot of people tuned out from the looks of it. But I was not mad about the fact that they made him win it. My issue with the way they did it, and I think what a lot of other people's are, and not necessarily because of the social injustice that was, again, proven innocent on all accounts, I think it's just the way they booked it.
Yep.
The booking of it made no sense to me. Because he was never advertised, he was never announced, and I really feel like it was just Vince McMahon trying to stick it to odd makers that were trying to do betting. That's
how many people lost money that night. Oh.
Yeah, every single person. That's all it really came down to. It was just.
I appreciate the fact that you brought up Vince McMahon. Do you think some people were tuning out because Theory has been pushed all this time as Vince McMahon's hand-selected such and such?
Yep.
And with the allegations that have come across for Vince here in the past month or so, having his hand-selected person thrown into the big main event, winning the briefcase, did that have something to do with
a lot of
the heat towards him?
You damn right. I guarantee you it is,
I'll put this into perspective because I don't know if you were around during this, but James, you might remember this. Remember the Authority era and who they were pushing as the golden goose of the W at the time? Seth freaking Rollins. But as far as him winning Money in the Bank, it was advertised and he had outside help to do it. So it felt more structured from a storyline standpoint. Fury looked like he was just given the proverbial silver spoon, and for the rest of us, it was F you.
Yeah,
Fair
I mean,
enough.
reality is just like, I think anybody that even had a hand in being built up by Vince on screen is going to suffer, and Theory was a big part of that, and it's not going to be a good look. And it sucks because it's not even Theory's fault. He was just dealt a freaking bad hand because of the very person that was trying to build him up. And again, rightfully so in this one in particular instance. Finally, we're trying to make a freaking star. Holy crap, it's a miracle. But it's like, then all this stuff comes out about you, and then you add that onto the allegations that were thrown on Theory, and it's like a powder keg for disaster. Like it really is. It's a PR nightmare.
Fans are constantly giving WWE crap for not trying to build stars, and here in one night they built two. One cashed in and won the women's title. The other one still has the briefcase being Theory, and people are still crapping on it.
Well, again, it's the way that Fury was brought into this, but also, up to this point, how he's been portrayed. For us, though, Liv Morgan, she was the hopeful we wanted, and thankfully we got it.
I get that. I think I was one of the few people that wasn't like, FWWE when Theory got entered in the match and won, because I've been high on the kid from the get. So, the fact that they threw him in there, I was like, yes, Theory, I'm changing my pick. He's my pick now.
But unfortunately, you couldn't do that. And again, Josh and everybody else in the entire predictions pool, No DQ and Beyond, you got 0.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it was just like, I feel like the booking of the company has been just done to death, and I don't think, even if they do right, I don't think they're gonna get an audience back. Keep in mind, there's a lot of freaking fans who are frustrated that still watch, and their friends or their family or whoever got sick of WWE because their booking was so awful, or they just didn't like the company's direction, or they just didn't like the fact that stars were leaving, and you're never gonna get them back.
That's
Most
not
of them.
necessarily true.
That's
Because
fair.
everything you're describing is why I stopped watching back in 2013, 2014.
There you go.
Right.
And I'm now back.
Right.
It's like so I'm kind of at the flip side extreme of your argument there, where they've gotten me back, and I've been out of action so long that the stuff that they're presenting to me I'm finding entertaining.
It feels
Whereas
fresh
those
to
of you guys that have been watching and staying with it for all these years are so put off by it. You know, the simple things like the NXT change and whatnot has really kind of soured you guys.
Yes.
I didn't know anything of that NXT. So the NXT that I'm being introduced to, I'm enjoying. I'm finding entertaining. We're going to get into NXT in a minute when we get to our transition to our next topic. But I'm finding everything I'm seeing on TV, whether it's WWE, AEW when I get to watch it, even Impact, the rare times I get to sit down and actually see it, everything I'm seeing is entertaining to me once again, where I had become that disenchanted fan that they lost 8 years ago, like you're mentioning, James.
But I say, James, you gotta look at the way you structure your sentences. You're saying like all or never. Truly, those words don't apply here. It's not impossible.
I can say, while there are a few exceptions to the rule, though, a majority you're not going to get back.
That's a fair point.
It
takes
a lot. It takes a lot to get a fan back. It doesn't just happen overnight. You have to have long, substantial change, and even that might not be enough in a lot of cases, especially in the world of social media, where you can literally look at everything from a click of a freaking button and know what the hell's going on in like 10 minutes. Like you can literally sum up Raw in 10 minutes and know what the hell is going on, and you wouldn't be any of the wiser for it. Like that.
Hi, Sean Rossap. Thanks for the reports.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to.
Or Aaron in his 30-minute reviews after Raw, you know.
Whether it's Aaron, whether it's Dave, whether it's Sean Rossap, whether it's anybody, really. Like
whether it's Jeff Meacham Tuesday nights on the Jeff Meacham Network.
Legitimately, you can watch any video on YouTube that covers wrestling that on a weekly basis, on a nightly basis even, and know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think part of what really started to bring me back into the WWE, because I would still watch Rumble every year. I would still usually check out WrestleMania after it happened. I would go to my brother's house and I would watch SummerSlam because that always happened around my birthday. The last couple years before I really started to get back into it, I would at least see those shows. I'd maybe watch the Mania run and see Rumble, Chamber, Mania, and then I'd stop watching again. But I think what really started to pull me back in, and I think this is a perfect segue into our next topic, was the women division. What they finally started to do with the women after having them branded as divas for so freaking long.
Yeah.
And actually having a legitimate women's division, watching those women's rumbles and seeing Lita, Trish Stratus come back, at the inaugural one, seeing Victoria this year. Like, I don't care how many times I sit back and watch it. That inaugural women's rumble when Lita comes out, I am a wreck because she was one of my favorites.
You can tell how happy Lita was to be involved in that too, and how important she felt that was for women's wrestling in general, not just WWE.
When Victoria came back this year, I lost my shit. Because I love me some Lisa Marie.
Hey, there you go.
But seeing what they've done with Becky, with Charlotte, with Bayley, with Sasha while she was around, with what Natty has done to help bring these girls up, and Beth coming in and out, with NXT and coming back for matches, seeing what they're doing with the new crop of girls down in NXT. And let's go ahead and go to our next topic here. You've got
Hey,
Cora
Roxy.
Jade and Roxanne Perez, Roxy,
Aw.
winning the NXT tag team titles, only for Cora Jade to turn heel a week later. Like,
Huh?
what in the F WWE? Now,
you
I'm
know
not gonna
why
lie.
this is not our NXT.
Now I'm gonna say, while I'm puzzled, while I'm head scratching this decision because I haven't actually been able to see this week's NXT with the move and everything, but I popped hard when Cora and Roxanne won the titles last week. I did see that.
I will
And
actually
then-
admit I tweeted about that because I actually do respect Roxy and Cora Jade. Continue.
And Cora is one of the ones that I really have gravitated towards in the new NXT. Like, I love Cora to death. But
I
then
thought
to
she'd
see
be
this decision and booking, it's like, why? Why would you do that the following week? Now, I could understand the heel turn the night that they lose the straps, or the week after they lose the straps. Have that gratuitous rematch the week after they lose it, and then the heel turn there. But this makes no sense to me. The only thing I can think of, and I know trying to find sense in a WWE world is just why. But the only thing I can think of is that Triple H had held a meeting saying that he was back. And I think this might have been like a Triple H swerve.
I'm looking for
Unexpected. We get it, James. We get it. I think
sure?
this was a
Okay.
Triple H expect the unexpected. Think about the people he's been affiliated with over the years, whether it's Shawn Michaels or Shawn being a prime example. Shawn and Marty, Shawn and Diesel, Hunter and Shawn himself, and all the times that there's been that heel turn. Not something as asinine as this, but the friend turning on the friend. You know, this smells to me like something Triple H may have written. And I see Josh's comment about Meltzer reporting that Triple H is back in the office, not NXT proper. But you never know. I mean, why, James? Since you were looking for the sense, what kind of reasoning and logic do you have that someone would try to book this? Because now where do they go from here? Do they have a match on NXT next week where Roxanne versus Cora and the winner gets to pick a partner of their choosing? Like,
I don't know.
where does this go from here?
I can tell you that my search for sense did in fact come up with results. I did find a nickel, which is about as much.
There you go.
So there you go. I got a nickel. That's about 5 cents. Is about as much as this booking decision's worth. Yeah,
You're being generous, or you're talking about inflation. But continue.
I knew you were gonna say that. That's why I did the skit. Yeah.
But he digresses.
But I digress.
Exactly. Yeah, man, this was a really and let's talk about this too. Oh, hey, we're gonna do this again in the span of a month and a half. Wait, didn't we already do this on another NXT show with the freaking Mustache Mountain? Yeah, that literally happened already. Hey, didn't we do this with the Judgment Day that we have now since relegated to the main event?
Oh,
and not the main event of Raw? We're talking about the main event of main event? Yeah, we literally just did that with Edge being kicked out of his own group. Why are we doing this again? Like, I get Vince doesn't like tag teams, but I swear, do we not see a pattern of being repetitive here? Like, come the hell on. watched this version of NXT and I'm like just flabbergasted. You literally have done this in the span of a month and a half twice already. Why are we doing this again? That's why I'm baffled by it. But like, does nobody just care and they're just like, book it, write it down, make it happen? I don't care.
I don't know. Like, I'm at a loss because, like I said, I was so happy to see these girls win the straps off of Toxic Attraction. Like, that was one of the highlights of the night for me. And then this a week later, and it's just like, huh? I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, I know we addressed it before the show, before you came in, James. I'll go ahead and throw it out now, Noah. So I apologize if you do the walk-off or you toss your headset down. It gave us a great shot of Cora Jade's ass.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Other than that, like, what purpose did this serve?
Nothing. Wait, isn't this the same segment too? Is this the one where the skateboard broke? Because I saw that on somewhere too. Like,
yeah, I think that was the same
completely
segment.
Shattered before Impact even happened. Like,
like I said, I
bright
haven't seen this week's show, so I don't know if it was the same segment, but I'm assuming it was.
Anybody confirm to me in the comments if that was the same segment? Because I did see that floating around on Twitter, and I just about busted a gut laughing seeing that. Just the skateboard is shattering before it even hits the other person. I'm just like, what
that would be like
hell?
one of Jarrett's guitars just combusting before it even touched their head.
You mean what happened? You mean what happened when you saw the white powder come out before the guitar shot?
Yeah,
Power for Glory.
Noah, you're a simple man. What is your simple take on this segment?
Looking for sense in all the wrong places. Sorry, what you had a question? You had a question for me? Okay. So I'm supposed to talk about women's professional wrestling. Damn it. But I digress. First off, botch. Victoria was not this year's Royal Rumble. It was last year's Royal Rumble. Ding. Now then, on to women's wrestling. If you want to look at women's wrestling done appropriately, Impact Wrestling is your standard bearer with the Knockouts division in single and tag team action. But I digress. That being said, this doesn't surprise me because, again, this is not my NXT. But I respect the former Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, Roxy. I respect the former Atlanta Black and what she has tried to do with herself in this span of this NXT, where I think she should be the NXT Women's Champion. Well, that got thrown to the wayside when she was endorsed by Natalya, who was heelish, but then not. And then literally at this point, I'm like, okay, so you really have no sense of direction. You're just going to throw a dart, break up a team, and see what happens. You don't care about women's tag team wrestling. You did the same thing with Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, and then you brought them together for one night to get the titles, only for them to lose it. Now you have these two who got the titles, turn on each other, and are you trying to recreate like just the same thing here, but two different people? Or are you trying to turn Cora Jade heel because at this point you don't know what to do with her, and do you not want Roxy? Do you not want anybody to be pushed forward? This makes absolutely no sense. But then again, in an NXT without direction, without flow, without that same wrestling, underground, passion up mentality to push something forward and engage me, this doesn't really surprise me at all. That being said, they're going to simply set up here Cora Jade versus Roxy one-on-one. Women's tag team wrestling does not matter in the WWE, and Mandy Rose is not going to lose that title as long as she looks like something out of the Divas era. So honestly, this doesn't surprise me. They have no direction. The only real star I see right now in this NXT is Ivy Nile, especially after her match with Michael Satomura on NXT UK. I pray to everybody that has to be victimized by Vince McMahon and Bruce Prichard booking that is a woman in this version of WWE's NXT because they don't know what to do with them, whether it's stereotypical or whether it's two-face. At this point, you might as well give everybody a coin and flip it to see what they're going to do the following daggone week. But I digress. This absolutely made no sense to me when I heard about it. And by the way, get a better prop, WWE. Geez, you got blood money, but you can't afford a damn skateboard prop? Ridiculous.
Wow. Real quick, to add to Noah's point, they broke up the night they won the titles.
The night out
Correct?
or the week after.
The
Oh,
following
it's the week after. Okay, because I was about
'Cause
to
I have
say,
not
why am I
tweeted-
seeing that promotional thing?
I have not tweeted anything NXT 2.0 but that moment because Cora Jade and Roxy are two talents I respect. But your booking decisions right now have me worried for their future. Because if you cannot connect them to the audience as one perspective,
Yeah.
then what the hell is the future?
Let me just add this too. You want to talk about women's divisions and being
Oh
best
yeah, let's go
and
ahead
its
and list out
impact.
some women's divisions, shall we? Let me get my book out here. Sorry, I don't have a list. Let's see. What do I watch that has respectable women's wrestling? Let me go ahead and open it up here.
Stardom.
Yes,
Thunder
there is
Rosa's
Stardom.
promotion.
There is Impact Wrestling.
DPW.
There is DPW. There is, let's see, what else do I have?
Impact-
Joshi Pro
Impact.
Wrestling. Impact
Yep.
Wrestling's number one, dude. Their Knockouts division has been the standard of women's wrestling for as long as I can remember. You want to look at a great women's wrestling match this week? Mickey James versus Chelsea Green.
Yes.
Enough said. And let's see here. What else is there out there? Ring of Honor is trying to reboot their women's division. Bottom line.
They're about to have a banger themselves.
Mercedes Martinez, Serena Deeb. Booking defines the future. Find a way to literally structure something to make me believe you are investing in the future, not retconning an old idea.
At least for 1 week, at least I'll put AEW in that category too, and I'll tell you why.
Go for it.
AEW in one segment on Dynamite Fighter Fest, which you can watch, by the way, on my channel currently right now, cheap plug. They had 3 women's segments in the span of like maybe 20 to 30 minutes promoting 3 world champions. 1 from a completely different company they bought out and 2 of their own. That is more than I can say about how WWE treats their women's division. Wouldn't you say? At least there's a freaking effort.
Effort and consistency leads to results. I'm not seeing it right now in this NXT. I hope you do see it, JJ. But again, you're already questioning yourself after that week.
I love how they are going with these rainbow aesthetic to all the titles, but I see the women's tag team division and their titles. Don't fucking have them!
Hey, did you realize that Skittles, for example, are being removed from consumer shelves because there's a toxin inside of them, I guess, that somebody found out about?
That sounds like NXT 2.0.
I don't think NXT 2.0 is sponsored by Skittles.
No.
Yet.
James, thank you very much for bringing up the perfect transition into my next topic. You talk about how WWE doesn't care about their women's division. Well, this next person has been talked about ad nauseum when it comes to that, especially ever since her walkout. But Mercedes, as I'm going to call her Money Vernado.
That's politely accurate.
Is charging $30,000.
Oh my God!
To be at cons and do personal appearances. She is not willing to do anything wrestling related until at least January 1st of next year. But if you want to book her for your cons or for meet and greets, whatever, she's charging $30,000 just to come out and do her thing. Now, here's where I have a slight issue with this. And I'm not saying she's not worth the 30 grand. She knows her own worth. Somebody is obviously paying for her to be at this convention that you see in the graphic there. I don't have an issue with that. My issue comes when you're getting paid 30 grand to come out to a con, and then you're charging an additional $90 to have a picture taken with you, or $70 to get an autograph from you. If you're already making that much as a flat booking fee, pictures and autographs should be free. That's where I have a problem with this. Because let's think about this for a minute, okay? $70 for an autograph, $90 for a picture. That's $160. Even if the table does a $10 discount and does $150 for a combo, okay? 100 people, that's another, 15 grand that she's made? How many people do you think are going to come up to her over the course of the 2 days? Probably way more than 100.
Probably, yeah.
So I think that either it needs to be come to the con, charge your fees, make what you're going to make off of the take from the fans in attendance that want your autograph, your picture, which probably realistically being is going to be more than the 30 grand you're getting paid, or take the 30 grand and don't charge for autographs and pictures. That's my personal thought on it. What do you think, Noah?
It's an odd situation when you consider somebody builds themselves up to a point that they define their own value, whether or not she is influenced by, like an agent or something that probably might be representing her, that might really be booking her for these type of things. I honestly don't know if this is all literally on Mercedes, like, merit, or is it like just an influence that she maybe like goes with, for example. It's one of those things where I feel like if you're like, some sort of figurehead, you've already put a down amount on yourself just to show up at anything. You look at any wrestler that shows up at any like con or stuff like that. I don't necessarily know what they are, charged by appearance. And then you consider the fan interaction and the fan experience, whether or not you charge, separate for picture and autograph, or autograph versus picture, or you just do one or the other. It just sounds like to me there's just a balance when it comes to a system of checks and balances, where at the end of the day, the talent, I feel, wants it to be more beneficial for themselves versus those that are benefiting her. But I don't think Mercedes is particularly that type of person. It almost makes you wonder, is it on like, the booking, for example, in this case, the actual Comet Expo, like who really controls like all of this like figuring here? I don't know necessarily, but it's just the town herself. So without seeing the entire corporate picture, it's hard for me to judge. But honestly, if Mercedes is happy and she gets the happiness that she can get out of those that support her, and those supporters that come and purchase this also get that happiness too, then I got nothing to say.
James?
I have the stance of where Noah is, plus I'm more on the side of Mercedes or Money Bernardo here, because again, we don't know.
You do use these to make a living too, so I can also get that as well.
And not that Sasha necessarily needs the money. I agree with you on that stance, Jay. She doesn't. I just don't know if it's necessarily her call or not. The only thing she might have a control of is how much she charges for autographs, honest to God. Probably the only thing she probably does have a control of, and that's a good point by Noah. But I guarantee you, regardless of the financial gain of it or whatever, or the actual reasoning behind all that, she's gonna get that 70. Every fan that's there is gonna pay. First off, number one, it's the world of Sims. They're gonna pay it. You know they're gonna pay it just to meet the woman. That's just how it is, right? Yep. That's number one. Number two, there's a lot of fans that really want to meet Sasha Banks. They will pay top dollar to meet Sasha Banks. They will pay top dollar for an autograph. They will pay top dollar for an autograph picture for 90. She's gonna be making bank. Do not be surprised if she makes 100,000 in one night plus the 30 grand she has.
You gotta consider, JJ, what a following will do to somebody they support, whether it's in person or virtually. Prime examples of this is Selena Vega on Twitch and Tony Storm with, her third-party affiliate. Again, if you have that sort of
third-party affiliate retracted.
I'm not judging. I'm just saying. Hey, King, how are you? That being said, shout out to the W crew. That being said, if you have built that sort of connection with simple people that are willing to dig that deep into their wall, whether it's the job or if they pull a loan, because some people are literally that desperate. Again, they're the ones that are going to profit in the end because they know they will.
Right.
I mean, but if she's going to be making close to 100 grand over the weekend, does she need the extra 30 from the people that are paying for her to come out?
Well, that comes down to the mentality, I feel, of her, how much is enough. And for some, enough is never enough, especially when it comes to this.
Yeah.
It's fair, I guess. I mean,
it is what it is. I mean, I know I wouldn't pay 70 or 90. I know for that. And I know for damn sure I wouldn't. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, you figure that if you go to these shows and you're nice enough, more often than not, you'll get them to stop in the parking lot and take a picture or sign an autograph for free. I get that these
Maybe.
conventions, are a way to make your bread and butter when you're not wrestling anymore. When you're wrestling limited dates, there's botch 3, Jeff. But
Botch.
from all reports, she's going to be bringing in close to Steen money for this appearance.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it won't be
Whether
her only
she's
one.
in Star Wars or a horsewoman or not, is she worthy of Steen money?
With the Mandalorian, even if it was a cameo, probably. That show does numbers. You know that probably more than I even do. So
I mean,
Oh yeah,
you
yeah. The
can attest
Mandalorian
it's Star
is
Wars
huge.
property on Disney.
yeah.
Enough said.
Right, right.
So that alone is probably what makes her Sting money. Honestly, not even her WWE run. It's literally the fact she was on Mandalorian. That one appearance on Mandalorian legitimately made her that much. I guarantee it.
That definitely was her highest point. If we're going to talk about, peaks of a stock, I think that definitely is her highest point, James. Again, she's been involved in the ESPYs. She's related to Snoop Dogg, so she has that name in the music industry. This athlete, this persona, this, figurehead right here, she has everything going for her, where she is financially set for life.
Yeah. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I think that's the main reason is because she's not just the, because Sting was wrestling, right, for a long time. Like, Sting was known as the wrestling guy. Sasha Banks is known for her appearance on The Mandalorian, and that in pop culture is worth way more than, her wrestling career, really. That's
it's amazing.
That's state of affairs for wrestling, really, when you look at it that way.
It's amazing what people will spend in pop culture just to be connected with somebody they actually like.
Yeah.
Or buy their merch, or buy stock in them, or just meet them, or something. Again, people will go to ridiculous lengths to spend
No. I
they
totally
wish.
get it because I've gone to many a convention. I've paid the money to meet wrestlers before, but I don't think I have ever paid that much money to meet one person before in my life.
Fair enough.
I think the most I've ever paid, and I could be wrong, if Statboy is watching this or he watches it back, he can leave a comment in the comment box and fact check me because he used to go to a lot of my autograph signings with me. We'd roll together. Mm-hmm. But I think the most I ever paid to meet a WWE superstar was $100 for an autograph picture combo.
And again, also though, we also got to think about who's advertising this meet and greet. How much is the booking on their side? How much is the take on their side too? Again, I feel there's a lot of factors here, but bottom line, money talks, and she's gonna make paper.
And that's another thing too. Who was the star you met, JJ, in that regard?
I don't remember. It's been so long. Honestly, I don't.
I'm thinking it's probably like Austin because that sounds like
maybe Austin, Goldberg, Flair, something along those.
Exactly.
Hell,
there you go.
Flair was cheaper than that. All I had to do was buy his autobiography, which was like $25. It was a Walmart. You just had to have his book. You didn't even have to buy it there that day. You could have got it on Amazon.
You want an autograph with me, Daddy? Buy my shit.
Just had to have pretty much. You just had to have his book. And you could get a signature from the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, 16X, as he signed it.
Yeah, there you go.
Again, a lot of factors are definitely in play here. I don't think it's solely just her that defines how much all this is.
Fair.
And if she had more of a say in it, she probably would adjust it because, to me, she doesn't seem like a selfish person.
No.
That's fair. I'm sure that there is an agent fee factored in there as well.
Agent, booking, marketing, you keep going down the list. Again, who knows how much goes into this and how much the government gets too.
That's fair. And Josh, that's an excellent point because it was an Anaheim Walmart that I met him at. Woo!
There you go.
But anyways, home of the original Space Mountain. So we're going to move on to the next topic, and this topic is going to be the fire topic. This topic is going to be essentially the main event. I do have something to come after it, like I said, to kind of bring us back into happy land, because I know this is going to be controversial, but it's something that happened. Yeah,
Oh,
Jordan Grace
Oh!
and her comments about Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
James, you
Quote,
can
"This
start
is
this off. Oh boy.
Hold on. For those that don't know what happened, I'm going to read through some of these quotes that were posted on Twitter. She says, "This is going to be the coldest take I ever tweet on this app. I already know y'all going to be mad, but I don't think Benoit could 100% hang with most of the present day best wrestlers. He would not be able to remember matches. Also, may he burn in hell. Amen. Maybe I am biased because he murdered his family. I don't know. Probably just me. I think we should all hate him and disregard his entire body of work. But again, that's just my take. I always found it revolting to see people praise his wrestling after what he did." And then there were some tweets that came back towards her, and she replied to one of them saying, "Proving a point. I said something very lightly critical about him, and people jumped to defend him. He should
Lightly.
never be defended. Dude lost that right when she described one of the murders. I'm not going to go into depth of that one."
Yeah.
And then Conan, who, love him or hate him, and I know me and Jeff definitely go back and forth on our talk about Conan sometimes. He had to go and like set things straight. And he says, these are Conan tweets now. He says, "Benoit had the ability to control the match and say, 'Hey, we don't need this. Take this out.' Because he was wrestling with Rey Mysterio, who was a wild guy that had to edit down and say, 'Hey, do this. Hoovy, do this. Psychosis, do this.' So, I mean, I don't know what the F you're talking about. That's effing ignorant." And then he goes on to say, "And bro, okay, yeah, he killed his family. Yeah, the guy had CTE. It ain't like he was a serial killer. The guy had all these problems accumulated from years, like we're seeing now in wrestling, like we're seeing now in football, like we just saw with this one guy, the 33-year-old wide receiver, Demarius Thomas. Don't know if I pronounced that right. Don't count that as a botch. That just passed
not
away. It's a serious thing for you to make light of it." And then Chris Jericho got involved. Chavo Guerrero got involved.
Oh boy.
And she replies to all of that saying, last week I made an irresponsible and unnecessary tweet. Regardless of how my personal emotions influence my opinion, I should have recognized the impact my words would have on friends and family close to the situation. I was completely thoughtless in that regard. Since reflecting this past week, I have reached out privately to friends and family that I angered or hurt. Among those were David Benoit, Chavo Guerrero Jr., and Chris Jericho, who have supported me in the decision to partner and fundraise with the Concussion Legacy Foundation. I have pledged $5,000, with the overall campaign goal being $20,000. I'm acutely aware that the damage has been done. I would never intentionally add on to the suffering of those already dealing with such a traumatic event. And I am sorry for my insensitivity and aggravating this already delicate topic. This is my way of attempting to squeeze something positive out of the negative situation I created. Thank you in advance to everyone who donates." But it wasn't there. It didn't end there, folks. Then Nancy's sister gets involved.
Yep. All right.
It's
I was
weird.
literally getting that up.
It's weird. I didn't hear my phone ring. I really thought the work I've been putting in for 15 years trying to keep and elevate my sister's legacy hadn't gone unnoticed. Guess my family is an afterthought. Again. I don't even know where to effing start. Hashtag heartbroken. To think I broke all the years of silence, ignored my personal pain and rage to successfully put every person mentioned in this apology tweet over time and time again in the press, doing PR and on my platforms. Why did I think it would be different? Effing Groundhog's Day.
Yeah,
Apparently, Jordan Grace reached out to her and started a private dialogue. We don't really know what came after that because it was sliding into the DMs, so to speak. But what in the F would provoke her to bring this 15-year-old topic up? Because ironically, today is the 15th anniversary of Talk Wrestling. Today's Talk Wrestling 15 years ago addressed this situation and the remarks from yet another Grace, Nancy Grace at the time, supposed journalist. But what would make Jordan Grace open her mouth and even bring this to light? James, we'll start with you. Jeff, I know you're in the green room. Please bring yourself on, because considering this topic was how you started Talk Wrestling 15 years ago, I would love to get you on camera regarding this.
Let me
James,
throw my hat on because I look like shit. Go ahead.
real quick, let me just put this in perspective that I do have an answer for your first question.
Okay.
There was a podcast that came out. By the way, thank you for Gentleman Villain Podcast for actually breaking this to me, because that's the only reason why I knew this even happened. It was actually a podcast called Crimes in Sports, I believe it's called.
Okay.
That covered that exact topic. That was the talking point of that podcast. And again, considering it happened around this time, that's when they decided to talk about this. And that is probably what led to these tweets direct. And it just, by the way, what Jordan did was so irresponsible on so many levels. I mean, so many people that were close to that situation were getting bombarded online because of this, because of her stupid social justice warrior crap, when she should have just let well enough the fuck alone. That's exactly what you should have done. I cannot believe that you know people that actually went through this situation and then have the audacity to tweet something as asinine as that. Shame on you, Jordan. I don't give a goddamn if you are the Knockouts champion of the world right now. I could give a fuck less. What you have done is effectively hurt so many people to the point where they have had to have their PTSD triggered by this situation and have to relive it all over again. That's exactly what you fucking did. Sorry again, Jeff.
And forget about Jericho and Chavo for a minute. Nancy's sister has had to relive this. Like,
exactly.
That's the most tragic of all of it. Nancy's sister, Sandra, and David Benoit.
Yep. The literal family blood related to Benoit had to be exposed once again to this proverbial Pandora's box because of keyboard warriorism that exists in this day and era.
Yeah. And that's the thing that pisses me off more than anything else. This could have just been avoided if you'd have just kept your thoughts to yourself for the betterment of your peers and the families that were freaking affected by this. Poor William Regal, who was close to both sides of the damn family, was finally we heard him speak on his side of the freaking story, and he never wanted it out in the first place because he knew it was going to start a crap storm on social media, and he handled it he is probably the only one that handled this the best out of anybody else on the entire platform.
Absolutely. And, I'm glad you mentioned Regal for a moment. I just got to put over the Gentleman Villains podcast real quick. I have been watching the YouTube videos of that here since it started going live. I need to see the Claudio one, the newest one that came up. But holy crap, this is a great podcast. But back to the topic at hand.
It's
this
Regal's
me and
legit in
Cece,
tears. He's about to freaking cry on the air.
yeah.
You know,
Me and
because he's
Cece were
recounting
talking
this.
at dinner tonight about Benoit with some of the talent that's out there today. Like, oh my God, could you imagine Benoit versus Omega?
Yes.
Oh my God, that would have been
Could
outstanding.
you imagine Benoit versus Danielson?
Yep,
Yes.
absolutely.
You know, Osprey Benoit.
Yes. The list goes
And
on and on.
Gail Kim, you just go to Gail Kim's tweet. Seriously, because she sums it up better than we ever could on this show. Seriously.
I
She
mean,
had the best take when it came to that line of discussion and dialogue.
you know, I pointed out to her the fact that he was supposed to wrestle Punk on the night that everything went down.
Yep.
I don't think we ever got Benoit Punk prior
No, we
to that.
didn't.
I think that
No.
was supposed to be the first time.
That was supposed
Like,
to be
could
the
you
first
imagine
time.
Benoit Punk too?
Yeah.
Like,
And,
holy crap!
and here's another freaking thing. You disrespecting Benoit in that aspect, you're inherently disrespecting all the people that were around during that era at the same exact time. You're disrespecting Malenko. You're disrespecting Van Dam. You're disrespecting all these other guys that were around during that era. I literally just got done watching his match with Van Dam right before coming on here because we were
SummerSlam.
doing a retro review on SummerSlam 2002.
I
And
was
it was
literally
the
watching that
best
last weekend.
match from a technical standpoint on the card.
Yep.
Oh, of course.
So
Of
you're
course.
going to disrespect all those guys like that?
Yeah.
Seriously? Like, can they not hang with your current crop of talent? Explain Cody then. He was around during that time.
I think Benoit versus just about anybody on the AEW roster would be a fucking wet dream come true.
From a wrestling aspect, absolutely.
Like,
Benoit
throw
could
him in there.
wrestle with anybody then, now, and forever. Period.
Throw him in there with either member of FTR.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Benoit
him
versus
and
Dax.
Dax. Yeah. I
I mean,
him and Jay Briscoe.
And
boy.
the comment right above CC there, Jeff. The Benoit thing happened his graduation weekend. It's like it's ironic that your graduation weekend was tied to a tragedy like this. My graduation was the OJ.
Oh, good.
Like, legit, my graduation was the OJ Simpson shit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
So we're brothers in arms when it comes to that, when it comes to tragedies tied to our graduation. Holy crap.
Jeez.
like, are in no way, especially now, when anybody talks about Benoit and the amazing matches that he had, are celebrating him as a person. But
Jeff, do you see? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, James. Jeff, do you see this comment from Cody Raines? We are on 6 TVs around a DJ booth in New Orleans right now on Bourbon Street, folks.
Wait,
Holy
what?
fuck.
Wait, what?
Thank you. I hope you all are enjoying the
Thank you.
conversation. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Noah. Or sorry,
Everybody-
James, finish your thought.
Everybody on Bourbon Street's gonna freaking hate me. Oh my god. They're looking at me like, look at this motherfucker trying to rant.
Cheers to all of you on Bourbon Street. I haven't
I
been yet,
appreciate
but
it.
dude,
What
that's
the
a
hell?
bucket list for me. James, continue your thought though. I cut you off. I apologize.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, like, I appreciate that I wish we could have been on a better topic if we were on Bourbon Street. Damn, it's Bourbon Street, the life of the party, and we're killing the party right now.
So,
Yeah, 6, I think. No, you're right, it's 6.
ding.
Anyway,
right.
yeah, no. For me, it's like we're not celebrating him as a person because what
No.
he did was absolutely unforgivable, even if you factor in everything that he had. Okay.
Yeah, without doubt.
You cannot forgive that. You cannot forget that, and you damn sure shouldn't be idolizing that in any regard. But the man before that happened, you have to at least acknowledge his presence in the industry in that regard, because if you don't, that is a slap in the face to everybody that ever worked with that guy, because then you are inherently forgetting their history. You're forgetting Eddie
Absolutely.
Guerrero's history. You're forgetting Angle's history. You're forgetting Van Damme's history. You're forgetting Jericho's history. You're forgetting Chavo's
Shawn
history.
Michaels.
Shawn Michaels' history. Triple H's
You're
history.
forgetting Triple H history. Yeah, exactly.
It's,
Noah, before I throw it to you, the interesting thing to come out of all this, and something that I saw a lot of in the tweets from Jericho and Chavo and even Conan, is the separation between worker and man who committed these horrible tragedies. And I think if there's a bright light in this situation, it's that a lot of people that have been coming out about this have been trying to separate the two individuals, which is something that I've been trying to preach from day one when it all happened. You've got to separate, like James just said, the wrestler, the performer inside of the ring, and the man who committed those horrendous acts that fabled weekend.
right.
Coming out of all this, do you think that's something that might continue down the road, since it seems to be happening in light of essentially her making an ass of herself?
Yes, because that's social media.
Simple as that. What else do I need to say? You guys already know my mentality towards social media. I don't let it dictate my fandom. And I certainly don't let the actions of a person dictate my overall perspective on a professional wrestler. Because when you think about what one wrestler gave to the industry, you got to think about those he affected during that history. You already mentioned some of the key names: Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels, Rob Van Dam. The list goes on and on. We've said it time and time again. One of the worst things about the entire professional wrestling industry is social media and the freedom and the flexibility of you expressing your own opinion whenever you wish on a whim without any sort of repercussion or restriction is right there at the touch of your fingertips. What caused this wound to be brought up in such a fashion by this worker of the industry, I will never truly understand. Two wrongs don't make a right.
No.
A monetary blessing in perspective doesn't necessarily clean up something you brought up to light to this fashion. I can't forgive what Jordan Grace did on social media because this should have never been brought up in the first place.
Absolutely.
But we can't deny what Chris Benoit did for professional wrestling. And that is what he should be recognized, honored, and respected for. You can never condone what the person did, but you can always respect what the wrestler did. And at the end of the day, Jordan Grace, you once again are proving the number one thing that's wrong with society: social media.
And
go ahead, James.
To add to your point, Noah, as much as we must respect the performer and separate him from the person, if not for his sake, because I could give a crap less about the person's sake, and I think most people can genuinely agree with that statement.
Agree.
You got to do it for the people that did wrestle him, so that way you are preserving their history, and that way we can learn from this mistake. JJ, you said at one point, or in a whole different topic, those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And as much as we need to praise the work, well, not even praise the work, but respect the work of Mr. Benoit, you need to do right by Nancy Benoit.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need to do women. You need to do woman right. That's what you need to do.
That's not a wrestling thing. That is a human thing.
And even in a wrestling thing, who are the three women that you remember from the time period where in a male-dominated sport, three women stuck out and made you remember them?
Elizabeth, Sunny, and Woman.
Sunny, Woman. Hell, I'd even put in Sensational Sherry in that list too.
Absolutely.
Those are the top five. She's in that group.
Yeah.
How do you not honor that legacy, and how do you not mention her legacy? Something's got to be done about that.
I'll even throw one more in there and throw Alundra Blaze.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Medusa.
Um,
You
going
know,
back to your point, about respecting legacies and everything, and I'm using the term legacy on purpose. SummerSlam is on the horizon. There is no Randy Orton first title win without
without him.
Chris Benoit.
Yes.
Exactly.
Me and
Which
Jeff
was a
constantly
stellar
make
match.
the joke on the show about Randy Orton walking down to the ring, finding the title in the middle of the ring in those god awful peach tights, hitting the turnbuckle and posing it. Because that's pretty much what WWE wants us to think happened at this point. There was no match. There was no competition. He didn't wrestle anybody. He just got the belt that night. Jeff, I asked you specifically to come in here. Like I said, today is the 15th anniversary of the original Talk Wrestling broadcast, and the Benoit situation was the meat and potatoes of your initial broadcast. Like I said, specifically Nancy Grace's topics and comments, so we have another Grace opening their mouth and inserting foot. What are your thoughts on this? We'll call it, the Lion King moment. It's the circle of life. It's coming full circle for you here 15 years to the date later.
I just figured Jordan was trying to get the show over, which I appreciate. I appreciate her doing that for me. But hell, fuck it. But whatever.
Add that F to your F count.
I can't do this. You know what? I've had 3 glasses of that whiskey. I cannot do 2 things at the same time right now. You leave me alone. All right. So, look, it's just one of those. And again, I'm not trying to make this about politics. I apologize in advance. There is a reason why 45 was suspended from Twitter, because he could not help but put his foot in his mouth on that platform on the regular. If we, and I mean we as society, were all made to be held to the level of accountability that he was held to, Twitter would cease to exist at this point, I think.
I would agree.
Fair.
I really think it would, because one way or another, whether it's the level that Jordan did here, where it's the level that President Trump did when he was before, during, and after the presidency, we all tend to sink to levels of dumb fuckery. There's 2, by the way. When we see that big giant blue bird on our keyboard platform, we tend to get uber stupid.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the first thing. The second thing is, other than the haha about putting the show at the 50th anniversary, like, again, I appreciate the help there, Jordan. Why? What was the point of bringing it up? It wasn't even like it was the anniversary of the tragedy either.
It wasn't.
It just been like late June. I would have been okay. Well, it's on everybody's mind. It's a milestone year. It's a 5 year. So maybe it's just she just for no seemingly good reason.
Yeah.
But see, I think that this is something that's been held down so much that it's not the type of thing that's on everybody's mind when it happens. It's not Owen Hart's death. It's not 9/11. It's not something that when it rolls around every year, it's like, oh my God, it's September 11th. Where were you when it happened?
Right.
Because we've been conditioned to forget about it so much.
Well,
except for some of us who, had freaking viewing parties on the anniversary because we wanted to keep the memory alive of his in-ring performances.
Right. Well,
I'll out myself. That was totally me. Yeah, Jeff helped with it, and there's another botch. Jeff helped me plan it and organize it and everything, but when the 1-year anniversary came around for it, and the 5-year anniversary, we did viewing parties because we were trying to separate the man from the wrestler, and we didn't want his matches to be forgotten.
Right. Which is I understood and went along with it. It's one of those. It's one of those things, even more as the world becomes, or at least tries to make us believe that it's more PC than it's ever been. You don't want to touch stuff with any length of pole. You really don't. And bringing up Chris Benoit, no matter what context it is, you say that name, it's instant shitstorm.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Instantaneous shitstorm. There's no dancing around it at this point.
No.
And it doesn't matter if it's been 15 years. It doesn't matter if it's 15 years from now, because the majority of the media, and I'm including the wrestling media and the peripheral media, as EZ would call it, can't make themselves separate. Now,
No.
JJ, you and I both know that you and I do on the regular. We still watch Chris Benoit matches to this day when we get together because of how amazing a technical wrestler that guy was. You know, had that weekend in June not happened, first ballot Hall of Famer, would have been the ECW World Champion that night.
Yeah.
So it's you brought up him and Punk, and hearing you guys talk about the dream matches, I'm just like, can I just please have more than alcohol going right now? God. It would have been incredible. But again, and I can't speak for anybody else in here or out there in YouTube land or YouTube and Twitter land, because actually on my Twitter too. If you're still watching on my Twitter, God bless you, by the way, for what that's worth. But the thing is, and I realize I'm actually broadcasting this on, was that my Twitter or was it on the Meech's Meet? I hope I didn't put it on the Disney Twitter. That would really suck. Okay, cool. I'm on Disney Twitter. I'm on the wrong channel
bot.
today. Okay, yeah. It wasn't a bot, so it's okay. It wasn't a bot, so it's okay. It's just a drunken Miss C. It's so ridiculous that people spout off about stuff they don't understand.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't think I have CTE. I don't know that, but I do know that I have distinctive physical evidence of damage upstairs because of all the head trauma. So I do know what it does to a person. Do I feel like I want to kill my family? Not today. But well, maybe earlier today. But
But I digress.
one of those. Yeah, I digress. Buy the shirt.
Disclaimer.
All the merches. Help pay for my CTE recovery. Anyway, people just. I forget who. I'm pretty sure it was Tyson. Twitter has made people brave enough to not be held accountable for their crap.
Yep.
Yeah.
It
Exactly.
said the exact quote was, Twitter has made you so brave to say whatever the hell you want and not got punched in the mouth for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And come from Mike Tyson, you don't want to get punched in the mouth by a guy with lethal weapon hands. So it's
Yeah.
I just and what know what? You and James, I think, appreciate this more. Although JD's been kind of catch up on the Ring of Honor product we had with the AEW bubble around it. The most screwed up part about this for me is her husband is the Ring of Honor World Champion, and we're not giving him any press till the end of the show.
Nope.
She's got her mouth in so much trouble, herself in so much trouble because of her mouth. We're not putting over the fact that her husband finally has some legs under him as the Ring of Honor champion and is fighting Claudio freaking Castagnoli a week from tonight.
Yes.
So
Let's
and
freaking
it's
go.
ridiculous.
And not to mention as well, let's just add this. Why don't you take advice going forward from your own husband? Stay the hell off social media.
Stay the hell
Seriously.
off Twitter.
There's a reason you don't see Gresham tweet, because he knows better.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, could you imagine 84, 85 era Piper on Twitter?
no.
Yeah.
Well,
I would have been able to. It
Well,
would have happened no matter what era it happened in. I'm convinced of that.
I'm just saying, like, we're talking like ultimate heel Piper. Could you imagine the stuff
Oh,
that he would
Lord.
have said
Oh, if
on
you're talking
Twitter?
character, oh my god.
He would
No,
make
because-
he would make Iron Sheik look like a saint.
Seriously, if Twitter was around when Piper was, feuding with Mr. T and slapping Dick Clark around the garden, every computer on the planet would explode.
For real, it
James,
would have
because of
been
Piper's
it would have
tweets.
been no DQ when we were in Vegas for the pipe bomb.
Worse
That's
than
that's
crashing
no
everywhere.
DQ rated R. That's what that is. I mean, James follows Iron Sheik, and all Iron Sheik is capitalized, it's jabroni, and just goes
Bro.
off the handle.
Iron Sheik to me is a gold mine of pure hilarity. Like all it is, and this is my headcanon with Iron Sheik, just to kind of make it a little bit lighthearted. So just to make people not completely tune out in New Orleans and actually try to bring the party up a little bit. I think-
Once we're done with this topic, we're going to bring things back up. That's why I made sure I told Jeff, I was like, We have to have an extra topic to come up from this.
I'm convinced that Iron Sheik doesn't even run his own Twitter, and it's run by a bunch of random people.
Oh, he doesn't. I know he doesn't. I know he doesn't.
But it's hilarious because it's all typed in caps, and it's and you would think it's by him, and everything is he's telling you to go F yourself. He's basically just telling you to do a healthy thing from a medical standpoint. I don't see the problem. What's the problem here?
But the thing is, James, having interviewed the Iron Sheik in 2003 when it didn't matter to piss all if he still hated the Hollywood Blonde Jabroni Hulk Hogan, he still said he hated the Hollywood Blonde Jabroni Hulk Hogan. So it's whatever.
He does.
Yeah, I was more disappointed than I was disgusted with Jordan's tweets.
Yeah.
Same.
I really was.
Because, James and Jeff, you know this. I don't have notifications on for social media. I don't get up and constantly scroll. I don't get up each morning and be like, boop, what's going on in the world of wrestling? I'm like, good morning. And then, I'm off unless we're talking actual wrestling during the show. I'm promoting a predictions league. When I learned this from James, No DQ, the ATW crew, I thought to myself, why?
Yeah.
Why does society believe they have so much power in the palm of their hands that they could say anything without considering the hailstorm that you are unleashing with a simple 120 character or 240, whatever the hell it is, little message?
And a public eye, too.
Yeah. For the record,
read that real quick, guys.
Or not, but says I turned the music off here and put you guys on, and people are dying laughing. I'm about 126 deep in here.
Wow.
You jabronis are crazy. But I digress.
Yeah.
God bless you.
We love and respect all of you guys in New Orleans that are watching us right now.
Imagine
Thank
if
you
every one of them
very
just came in
much.
the chat and just posed a question. You would be here all night.
Oh my God.
Hey, Ma! I made it!
Top of the world!
I made it, Ma. Top of the world.
I'm in New Orleans, baby!
Oh my
Great, how
God.
much MHJ just flop using that quote, James?
I'm
Okay,
supposed to be the
very good.
simple man that's just on YouTube, not on a TV screen. All right?
Fucking
This
outstanding.
is awesome to me, like for real.
Congratulations,
Here's
Jeff and JJ.
Here's the bottom line. If you want to, kind of bring it home, and then we'll get to the
Let's put a bow on this all together.
happy
At
topic.
the end of the day, I don't think she could hang with him.
No, okay, thank you. That's what I was gonna say. I don't know what tape or DVR or DVD or streaming screen she's using to watch Benoit matches. He can hang now. He could go into the ring with these guys in AEW and WWE. Yeah. Hell, put him on the card Saturday. He could dance circles around everybody defending or challenging for a championship.
Make him the
Benoit
NWA
versus
champion.
Claudio.
Seriously.
Benoit and Malenko versus FTR.
Yeah, seriously, give me another Punk Joe series with freaking Benoit versus Claudio. I'll buy the pay-per-view they make.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Hey,
Benoit,
I know
Claudio.
the TV. I know the TV that she has though that she's seeing this on. You know those old school monitors that WWE used to have in their announcer tables. She's watching it on one of those.
Right,
Those things suck to see through. Like you're looking at it. It's like, how did JR do that for so long? He's looking at the TV. He's like, I don't know what the hell's going on here, son. What the hell's going on here? I have to look up toward the ring.
The bottom line is Twitter has made us all far too brave and dumbed us down far too much.
It's part of why I try to stay off of Twitter. Like, the only time you really ever see a tweet from me is when I'm plugging my shows.
And
I avoid Twitter like the plague. I barely post on Instagram.
Yep.
I am on Facebook, and even that I question half the time. The only reason I'm so active on Facebook is because my mom is on it, my dad is on it, my family in Missouri is on it. That's the only reason. If it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't be on Facebook that much.
I look at social media like this: Facebook, family, hello, wish you all blessings.
YouTube.
Instagram, pictures, stories. I'm on vacation or I'm seeing professional wrestling live. Damn it. Twitter, hello, talk wrestling live, watch the show, and promote predictions leagues. That's my social media activity. No notifications, nothing further beyond that. No other apps beyond that.
And it's one of those. Oh, we won, Jeff.
Period.
Thank you, Zach. You're awesome, dude. I love you, dude. All right.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's
Zach, if you could get those people watching in New Orleans to come onto the YouTube channel and start
Lord.
super chatting, that would be awesome. Show them
shit on here,
support.
please. Yeah,
Please, yes, everybody go on right now.
You count my friends. You count our friends here.
But-
Seriously.
But we still love you. Thank you so much for getting us that exposure.
Buy my safety motherfucking sweatshirt. Do it now.
So wait, JJ, are you saying we're exposed in New Orleans right now? Isn't that illegal in
Yeah.
most states?
I don't know.
Okay.
Anyways, reel it back in here.
Good Lord Almighty.
Jeff, you're free to bow out now if you'd like. If you'd like to stick around for the last topic, you can. If you're gonna bow out, congratulations again on 15 years today.
Yeah,
Crazy,
Talk
congratulations,
wrestling. But
Yeah. Let me just.
I had to get you in here for this topic though, since
Oh no. Yeah.
this was
it's-
your bread and butter that first
no.
show.
It really was, and I find it funny that once again somebody named Grace. People just can't handle Grace under fire, I guess.
Heyo.
Except for Brett Butler, because she's awesome. If you know, you're older than me, and God bless you for it. Let me just say it real quick here, so that JJ plugged my own freaking. I'm spilling alcohol abuse. Let me just say this about tomorrow, since I don't want JJ to go too much into it, because it's really just a silly pet project at the end of the day. But I will be where I will be tomorrow. There'll be a Meech's Disney Fix is the Twitter handle. We'll be showing the original ABC broadcast from that day 67 years ago. So check that out. It's usually just my Facebook group that I do that with, but it's going to be the last one we do, so I'm letting everybody watch it. Hell with it. So anyway, have fun, you guys. And the last topic is a banger. So there you go. Have fun.
So bringing us back home from this, like I said, this was the main event topic, but I wanted something to kind of lighten the mood back up after this topic. So apparently,
Yeah.
Paul White and AEW have talked to the creators of the Waterboy. They have gotten the rights to the name Captain Insano. An outfit is being worked on. This is apparently going to be Paul White's last hurrah. Is this really the way? Here, let me find the thing. The guy who wrote the Waterboy has approved. Tony Khan and I have secured the rights to Captain Insano. There's already an outfit made, the whole 9 yards. We're doing a lot of prep work, and this will be my last hurrah, so to speak. Is this the last hurrah that we really want for Paul White, though?
Absolutely. You damn right. This is the freaking run.
Do I need to say anything?
Go ahead and elaborate then, James. Go ahead and elaborate. Why is this the last hurrah we need for Paul White?
This is going to give Paul White the moment in the sun to show off his comedy chops, his entertaining skills. He is going to be the Paul White that he always wanted to be, and I'm all for this. I can't wait to see what they do with Captain Insano. I damn sure can't wait to see the inevitable match he's going to have with Satnam Singh. There's a lot of things I'm actually looking forward to with this guy. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. I'm really looking forward to this. The only thing that can make this even better is if they got Billy Madison as his freaking manager. That would just be the icing on the cake, dude. Billy Madison coming out here. Oh, this guy right here, Captain Insano, we're going to have a word with him right now. Now, Captain Insano, you were trying to go for the AEW World Championship. What do you think you got to do in order to prepare for something so challenging like that?
Botch. Bobby
Billy
Boucher
Madison?
is the character in Waterboy.
Is it Bobby Boucher?
Yeah,
I don't
Bobby
think
Boucher.
So. Isn't it
Trust me, Bobby Boucher.
It's Bobby Boucher. Sorry.
Billy Madison was a different Sandler movie.
Ding.
Different sound.
Still both Golden
My
Salmon
bad.
movies. Just saying.
Hey, I said the crowd in New Orleans was going to hate me. There you go.
Oh, wow. It's a circle of life.
And it
Or
moves.
it's a small world after all.
Yeah.
So the $1 million question then will be: is at Death Before Dishonor, are they going to announce that ROH finally has a TV deal, or is it going to be Captain Insano as All Elite?
Captain Insano, Ring of Honor. What the hell?
No. I'm not sure about that one.
I'm wagering.
Like-
I'm wagering the Ring of Honor TV or streaming
Please.
deal sounds more
Please.
realistic. But if Captain Insano somehow happens before All out, that'd just be icing on the cake for all wrestling this year.
Yes.
See, and don't get me wrong, I love the Water Boy. I thought Captain Insano was hilarious.
Yes.
I don't know if this is what I want for the end of Paul White, though. Like, I would almost rather see Paul White be this monster heel and just start this meteoric climb up the roster that potentially ends with him jobbing to and putting over and making Wardlow.
Ooh.
Maybe, and that's fine.
Could you do make a star out of that? I like that a lot.
Or could there be a fine line where you could somehow do both? I'm curious with how they go about it.
Well,
the reason I'm happy for it is because I think this is how Big Show kind of wants to close out his career.
Yeah,
there's no other reason why he'd be trying to do it.
Flexing more than just his physical capabilities. It flexes a personality.
Yes. Yeah,
so I can see it. I can see it both ways. And honestly, if AEW did something like Impact Wrestling does at times, where they do the throwback shows called IPWF, and you have all these crazy like gimmicks out of like a retro 80s, 70s type wrestling vibe. I mean, Captain Insano fits the bill. James, you don't know what I'm talking about, or JJ, there's shows called IPWF that Impact Wrestling does, and they have like the cutest characters do the most crazy of comedy characters that the crowd just eats up. Just go back and watch it. I think in one of the Madison Ray was a fitness instructor, reminded me of Olivia Newton. It's John from the Physical music video from the 80s. So
nice.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Totally get that reference.
Yeah, I don't. Twitter made me dumb.
You're young, Dave.
Look it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
That Olivia Newton-John video was it was akin to like porno for 80s kids, for real.
Well, also that
watching her in that
tremendous video.
Like you put that video side by side with her as Sandy at the end of Grease and that leather outfit that was like stitched onto her. Guys were losing their shit over that.
I haven't seen leg warmers that hot since Eric Perez's "Call on Me" music video.
Damn, I got that.
Accurate.
Is this what
Jeff, if you're gonna keep dropping in to just say a word, then bring your ass in here and speak on the topic.
Jesus Christ! You're the star of this thing anyway. Come on.
He didn't want to be doing too much tonight with the way that his voice has been, with the fact that he's going tomorrow. You know, and he's kind of said privately to us how I've kind of taken the reins over this show anyways. Coming up with so many of the topics, so
and this is fun. Going back to that music video, I mean, hell, the person that was the freaking instructor in that video started her own fitness line, so kudos for her. That being said, Captain Insano in AEW, please and thank you. That sounds hilarious. Even if it's just for like a one-night thing or a short-term thing, the possibilities you could do, and maybe have Tony Schiavone show up in a bow tie like that. That bring out even a different side of Tony Schiavone's personality. I love everything about this potentially happening. I really do.
I couldn't imagine them going to this lengths for a one-night thing or even like a short-term couple of month thing. I feel like this has to be like at least minimum a 1-year run.
Maybe even 2.
You know, from like all out to all out.
It really could go the distance. There's comedy gold with this. And the fact that AEW likes to use BTE to convey some stuff as well, James, you already know what I'm saying.
Jeff, do you see the comment?
Give me Captain Insano and John Silver at the same time. That is comedy gold
BTE
waiting to happen.
title.
That's a tag team waiting to happen.
Yes.
The one from Cody, Jeff, yeah. He has 20 people in his DJ booth who want to ask questions.
Oh, Lord.
Bourbon Street Q&A.
Yeah.
All right. Bring him on. That's all I got to say about that.
Bring him on to the
actual anchor tied to their ass. Bring him in. Shit.
Zach, we have completed our topic.
Bring whatever you want forward. Go ahead.
We have completed all our topics, Zach.
Yeah,
aside from getting Jeff's thoughts on this, since he wanted to just pop in and say little one-word things. If y'all have some questions for us, if you want to suggest a topic, that's going to take a super chat. But if you got some questions,
You can ask anything.
throw some ask open mic night anything. There you go.
Open mind night. Literally,
So here-
nothing's off limits.
While we're waiting for the questions to come in, I'll ask the three of you, since I'm the trivia guy here, since Greg's not here.
Oh, shoot.
What does the Waterboy movie have to do with where I'm going tomorrow?
Don't know. I'll be honest, don't know.
JJ?
I don't think any point.
I rode the Columbia with Adam Sandler.
I didn't know that, but cool.
Just-
No.
I'm blanking. It's been so long since I've seen Waterboy. That's the only thing I can think of.
Produced by Touchstone, distributed by Buena Vista.
There you go.
Oh, touch.
Which I didn't know that till right now.
I remember that. I remember that.
But
studio.
yeah, once upon a time, I rode the Columbia sailing ship with Adam Sandler. Tried to get a picture with him. Politely asked him. He said no. He's doing family time. I
Of course.
obliged him that. But I do have a picture that pops up in my memories every now and again
That's awesome.
of him like from a distance at the front of the Columbia sailing ship, and me where I was with
I remember
my
that. Now you
mom
say
and
that.
all that
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah, the one celebrity interaction I remember. Let's go ahead and do this since we're not talk about this anymore, really.
Did you have anything you wanted to add about the Captain and Say No thing, Jeff?
Not really.
Quickly, like,
I think it's great. I think it's funny that Paul's deciding, you know what? He's at the point of his career. I mean, he signed that redonkulous 10-year deal with WWE, wrote it out. God bless him.
Yeah,
exactly. Made the money he was going to make. They weren't going to use him the way that he wanted to be used in the WWE anymore. And he wanted to go have some fun and ride his career out. Why not? Shit.
Yeah.
But the one celebrity thing I remember that we never talked about because it was such a fleeting, brief thing. When the submarine voyage was first converted, like right around, not first converted because we weren't hanging out too much at that point, but when we first started going around that time, it was you and I want to say Dylan was with us, and Dylan's mom was definitely with us. But Jennifer Love Hewitt was coming off of the submarines we were going on. Do you remember that?
I do not.
Yeah, she was coming off of the submarine, no makeup. I mean, she's totally with family, completely like dressed down, like not wanting to be seen. I think it may have been Dylan's mom that saw her because she was such a fan of, I think, was it Party of Five she was on? Is that the one she was on?
I think so, yeah.
Just like kind of like, oh shoot. And of course, people being who they are, they started to swarm her. I stood back and, just kind of, lovely to meet you type thing, because I've being doing what I've been doing for so long, you have to learn to not bum rush people, because that's the whole reason they're there, is to not have to be bum rushed.
Which was part of our last open mic night discussion. If you guys go back to the post Money in the Bank edition,
Yep.
you can see us covering that topic there.
Yeah.
Well, because we brought that up. We were talking about observing people firsthand, do it on the regular. We were talking about, I saw it as recently as, Survivor Series weekend 2018, the night of Takeover. I saw one of our people that I've known for years do it, and you sit there, you just go, wow, you talk. It's funny. I mentioned Princess Diana during that topic as far as the paparazzi thing causing her passing. I had forgotten completely that, because I watched it on the Imagineering special recently on Disney Plus, that Princess Di and the boys had gone to Disney World and had one of their guys just take her around. And I'm sorry, it wasn't Disney. It wasn't the Imagineering special. It was the Disney World anniversary thing that was on ABC. Then they moved to Disney Plus. But yeah, she told her guy at the end of it, it was so nice to just be Diana and the boys, and not the Princess of Wales having to stop every freaking 5 seconds or whatever. It was crazy.
Excuse me. Wow.
God bless you.
That's kind of the thing that people forget. It's like, once the cameras stop rolling and once the movie makeup comes off, these are just human beings too.
Yep.
So
Amen.
we do have a question from the bar. So God bless, or from the DJ booth.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
So
All
it
right,
looks like
guys.
there's a 2 question there.
Yeah, I
Would
see
we
that.
host
See,
a Bourbon
James?
Street takeover? It would probably have to be the next time that a major event
major
comes
show.
to New Orleans.
Yeah.
A WrestleMania, a
They've done it twice
Slammiversary,
now.
something along those lines.
Yep.
I've only
No,
ever
look
gone
at that.
to one show outside of California, and that was when I went to that Raw in Vegas.
Yes.
I've never been to a wrestling show other than that outside of California, so it would definitely be an experience for me. But it would have to be something major to bring me that far out of my comfort zone, so to speak. But if the right situation came along, I would absolutely be down for it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You know what?
You guys
also know
seem
what
to be
Ding
receiving
also-
us so well there right now. I would be all about going and giving back to
Hell
y'all.
yes. To the
It would
I
be-
have never been to New Orleans. That's definitely
Right,
one of
neither
my
have
cities to travel to. I've been to Nashville and Toronto, and that's about outside the bi-state area of Michigan and Ohio. So definitely count me in.
If New Orleans is half as much fun as New Orleans Square at Disneyland, you can count me in. I'll tell you that right now. I will say this:
Ah,
it'd be one of two things.
Yeah.
It would be a major pay-per-view or special event from a company,
Yeah.
or if like we got booked at StarCast or something like that and it was in the area. Something of that, like if we were booked there or if they had a major company there, one of the two reasons. Otherwise,
Yeah, basically, yeah.
it's honestly a matter of cost prohibition. That's really what
Pretty
it comes down
much,
to.
yeah. It's just
literally.
It's cost thing, yeah.
You know, lodging and travel. That's what it is. And for those that are wondering, why was no one on his phone during that whole time talking? You remember I was talking about the Aaron Perez call on me video and the leg warmer feint, the lead
Yeah.
model? I was looking up her name, Deanne Barry. She still looks pretty darn good.
Yeah,
And
yes,
Russell
she
Owen
does,
too.
man. Yes, she does.
Yeah.
Kudos
and
to
then
her.
the other question in the room: how would we book Liv Morgan as Lily? Are you talking about Alexa Bliss's doll Lily?
I
Okay.
wouldn't, for one thing.
I wouldn't. No.
Yeah,
there's-
no.
No, we finally have Liv
God.
Morgan with the championship. Let's just run with that for a minute.
Yeah.
I mean,
Please.
Liv Morgan.
If you want to team them, I'm fine with that. Just
No.
don't make it work.
Okay, look, first off, we already know that women tag teams does not work in WWE. They work in NWA. They work in Mission Pro. They work in ZCW. They work in Stardom. They work in Impact Wrestling. They work in AEW to a degree, but I digress.
Just
That
ask
being
poor Jaden
said,
Roxanne Perez how that went for him.
Ayo. That being said, I mean, Alexa Bliss versus Liv Morgan will be an interesting championship program.
Yes.
Yes.
But honestly, Lily might as well be locked away in a storehouse, never to be seen again.
Please.
I
Please
honestly-
walk her away.
I honestly don't mind Lily being on TV still, as far as, you know, that little bitty tie to, you never know if Alexis is going to completely snap her twig again. Just don't actually do it. That's all.
Yeah,
Because I like Alexa with that.
Unless Bray's coming back, don't do it.
No, not even that. Number one, I don't want Bray to go back. And the reason I don't want Bray to go back is because he's very much in the whole CM Punk mindset is he's never going to get better in the place he got sick. And
That's fair.
being there made him ill to the point of he just doesn't even want to do it anymore. I don't blame him. I really don't.
Again.
But as far as Lily and Alexa goes, I am perfectly happy with having the almost goddess back.
Agree.
But there's always that wonder of, is she going to jump her trolley again if you say the wrong thing? I'm okay with that. Just don't have the trolley actually lose off the tracks. That's all I'm saying.
Put Lily in a glass case on display like Annabelle, and she comes to life one night. Next thing you know, Bliss flips her lid.
Well-
don't give them ideas. They'll have them in a date with Chucky in a heartbeat.
I don't mind
I'd be
Lily
down
being
for
in a
that.
glass case as long as that doesn't lead to Alexa being a mayor of a city, because we all know how well that went for another former WWE superstar.
I'd be
Whoops, I
down
went
for
about
that,
politics
James.
again. Oh dear.
I'd be
Anyway.
down for that, James, because it could start a feud with Tiffany.
No.
No, because I actually enjoy Jennifer Tilly having her limbs intact. She's pretty hot. So I wanted Alexa to beat her up too bad. Just saying.
Real quick, since we're on that subject,
Oh, here we
if
go.
they do decide to do that,
We've got off
you
the
have to
rails.
hire like one of those like action figure editors, you know, the ones that do like the freaking wrestling matches with the action figure. You gotta hire one of those people because they're the only ones that can bring that crap to life. You got
Okay. All right. I'm glad you brought up. I'm glad you brought up action figures. I saw a post. That I'm going to briefly on Starcast for a second here. I usually don't. I usually put over Conrad and all his stuff because, without question, it's my favorite podcast outside of our own stuff. So,
100%.
thank you very much.
Fair enough.
If you know what I'm talking about, then you do. If you don't, my world, watch that shit and listen to it.
Woo!
They're having. Yeah, thank you. They're having a thing there at the weekend where you can go into a booth and have yourself, and as of now, it's Nate, Lita, and a couple others scanned as a display action figure pair.
What?
But they're charging like hundreds of dollars.
Oh my god!
Now
That's crazy.
And again, you guys were talking earlier about spending all that money for one person or one thing. This is where you find out who the freaking crazy gravies are from the real hardcore nuts, right? Because like these people are going to Nashville as it is to go to SummerSlam, to go to StarCast, to see Flair's last match, to all this stuff. The peripheral stuff is just crazy. Like
now, wait a minute. Do you actually get an action figure of yourself?
it's not an action figure. It is it's one of those where you don't play with it. It's not a doll, man. It's an action figure, but you display it. But yeah, it's you and Ric Flair. You go in the booth together. They scan you and they give you the 3D print figure.
3D
That's
print.
actually pretty
Okay.
dope.
It is pretty dope, Jay.
I
agree with
think
that,
I would go for something like
That's
that
taking
for a guy.
pictures with your favorites to a whole nother level.
It does, and
for a guy that had so many action figures back in the day,
I know, me too.
I would love to have my very own action figure and to have it alongside a Ric Flair, a Lita, a William Regal, whoever else they've got in there that's part of Conrad's family of people.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm
a
trying to remember who it is actually
Shivani,
they
a
have on
Bischoff, a whoever. That would be just freaking amazing. Like, Jeff, for you, I could imagine you and Bischoff getting scanned together and then getting like little NWO shirts on them. And Jeff actually has his own NWO action figure alongside
God.
Eazy-E. Like, I could just
it's too
see that.
brilliant.
For the man
So-
here that celebrates their anniversary every year.
Yes. So, but here's my here, and like I said, I don't disagree with the act of doing it because it's wonderful. I think it's a really cool idea. My whole thing is the sheer cost of actually doing it is just beyond anything. And again, we were talking earlier about spending money. For a brief moment, JJ, you can vouch for me on this because you and I talked about it. For a brief moment, when they announced Undertaker's first signing, after he said he was going to start doing these appearances,
Right.
it came down to he was going to charge, I think, $200 for a picture and $200 for an autograph, separately.
Mhm.
Yep.
And I wrestled with it. I really did, because it's my dad's favorite. It's probably going to be a once in a maybe Roxina twice in a lifetime thing. But that's it.
Mhm.
Like, you're not going to get that. And then when he did it again, the price jumped way higher.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, should I have done it? And then it's like, well, then you start second guessing yourself. So you really don't know, how it would work out. But it's just, I can't, it would be wonderful to have a display of myself standing next to Ric Flair, standing next to Amy. I'm trying to find the damn tweet that they put out because I'm trying to get the cost of it, so forgive me here. But I guess what I'm trying to go with it is, back when Undertaker made the announcement, I had no qualms about even considering it.
Right.
But I guess I've matured on the money spending front, because now I just go,
Yeah.
I can't. Like, it's not financially responsible. It's crazy.
Yeah, priorities before passions. I totally get that. There's a reason why, for example, I haven't bought like anything outside like wrestling travel or like a memorabilia or anything like that since pretty much moving, because I've been trying to reestablish my credit, for example, since purchasing this place. That's why I haven't really gone anywhere or done anything or bought anything. I've just been continuing trying to work and move forward, basically recovering. So I get that, because trust me, there's a lot of stuff that I was tempted to do. I was tempted to go to Ohio Fest to meet Butcher, Blade, Bunny, Powerhouse, Hobbs, Road Dog, and it's like, okay, pictures and autograph. Oh, that sounds cool. And it's right there in Youngstown, just a bus ride away. But then I got to figure out a hotel, and I'm like, I want to, but I need to be smart. I can't. Try it again maybe next year. I just follow Ohio Fan Fest now on Facebook, so hopefully they do that again next year and have several of those great talents and more. Because I've never been to like a wrestling convention or anything like that outside of one SummerSlam Access meet and greet And that was back in 2019 in Toronto, where I did meet the likes of Chad Gable, Kurt Angle, and of course Claudio. So,
Nice.
and even that for a first time experience, and Adam Cole and Shayna Baszler, that was fun, and I would definitely do that again if it was financially, possible.
SummerSlam Access was our bread and butter back in the day. If today hadn't been moving day for us, I seriously was going back and forth over the fact that Deborah was at the Wrestling Guy store. Like me and Jeff are going to be doing a show about the incarnations of the Horsemen here in a couple of weeks. Like to have been able to talk to Deborah and possibly get like a little snippet of her talking about her time with Jarrett being grouped in that, and with Mongo, who everyone has seen. Everyone's seen the pictures of Mongo lately. Like, holy crap! Like,
it's so sad.
It is. It's sad to see what he's deteriorated to, but
okay.
Give me weird fall Mongo back. I miss him.
But it would have been cool to have gotten a little snippet of her to have inserted into that. But priorities today was moving day. Had to get the U-Haul. Had to get everything up here. Go ahead, Jeff.
I don't see Flair on the list anymore, but they may have just made a different link for it. But the other people are Amy DeMa, Mojo Rawley. I don't know. I can never say Dean's last name to save my life, but it's Mojo Rawley, and then the lady formerly known as Nia Jax. Which again, whatever. I'm not gonna shit on the person. It's like whatever.
No.
Single package. Me plus one wrestler, $300 plus fees.
Jeez.
Me plus two, or no, two fans and one wrestler, $400. Party package, which is me plus three, or me a friend plus two, or me two friends and one wrestler. That's the VIP party package, $500 plus fees.
Damn.
Now, again, you're being immortalized as an action figure or a collectible next to, in theory, your favorite, wrestler.
Versus taking a picture with like a virtual or cardboard or person through a green screen.
So for you it'd be Lita, Jay. For me it'd be.
Here I am rocking my OG Hardy's stuff. So
exactly. So
Lita would be perfect.
For $300, like again, it's all about priorities, like Noah said. For me right now, no way in hell. But the Powerball hits. Okay, yeah.
I mean, it's like $1 billion, so
I got 30 cents. That's about how rich I am. So there you go.
There you go. That nickel you found looking for the WWE booking sense.
Yeah, exactly. Booking sense.
Well, JJ and I were talking about it the other day because I was thinking about Disney and everything, and just found myself down a rabbit hole because of how much a membership to the exclusive club that Walt founded in the 60s, Club 33, is in the high tens, numbers wise, of thousands of dollars per year. And it was like, can you imagine hitting the Mega Millions or something like that and having that kind of money where even if you get the lump sum and you get half of it, pay off your house, pay off your debt, make sure the tax on the house or whatever taken care of, make sure your family's set, and then just not give a shit, and then just off you go. Yeah, and just spend that kind of money on stuff like that.
That would be great.
It's crazy, right?
The sad thing is, Jeff, you're literally going to talk about realistic stories of people that have done that and still somehow put themselves in a worse situation than before because, again, they lost their bleach.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it is now past the 9 o'clock hour, which means it's past midnight in the East Coast. I do want to have JJ go ahead and take us home here because I know it's getting super late.
Real quick, but I also wanted to do a little bit of a skit here for the New Orleans people because I don't know if they're still working. But I just wanted to do this little bitty for you guys here. All right. So,
am I gonna have to
or ditty rather. So, this is for all my homies that work in pizza shops in New Orleans. Credit Family Guy. We're all just blocking the street. We're all just blocking the street. Oh, come on. I got to get this pizza. It's got to be delivered in half an hour. We don't care. We're walking down the street. We're all just blocking the street. I have to deliver this. It's a company promise.
Damn it, James. You freaking idiot!
That's
We love it.
I
Zach,
don't care
if
about
you
my
and-
job because I'm just walking the street.
Zach, if you and all your friends on Bourbon Street are still watching us,
They're not
thank
now.
you once again.
Oh, no,
Thank
they hate
you
me.
once
From the
again
hill.
for giving us that much coverage
Yes, that's really cool. We
Yes.
and
appreciate that.
exposing
Appreciate
that.
it.
Like all those of you
Oh
guys
my
that have been
gosh.
watching on Bourbon Street, if you haven't already, go subscribe to our YouTube channels.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have so
Yeah.
much content that we put out on them over a consistent basis during the week. James, why don't you go ahead and start your plugs?
Absolutely. Well,
He's working on it.
I just loaded it up right now. Here's what we got first on the docket. It's actually going to be my grandfather's book first.
Oh.
No.
So
Interesting.
he has a book called The Magic of the Team, and I'm so glad this is in New Orleans. I know most people probably wouldn't be a Red Sox fan down there, especially, but my grandfather actually played for the team in 1955, and that's him circled right there. And he is currently actually we don't know how long he has, but he's currently on a bed right now. He's bedridden. So,
Man.
and that was due to lots of complications, including up to and including COVID, and he somehow survived all of it. But I don't know how long he's got. So he just wrote his book, The Magic of the Team. It's published now. I got an autographed copy sitting right there in the kitchen right now, and my dad has his own. So that's the first thing I want to plug. If you're interested in baseball, you definitely would like that. So give that a shot. Obviously, I think if you're a baseball fanatic, you'll love it, and I think you'll get to know about how I was created because he created my dad, and the rest is history. You see the guy that's standing in front of you today. So check that out. Magic of the Team, available right now on Amazon. As far as content that I am producing and that my friends are producing, I want you guys to check out For the Win Productions, which includes A Simple Man Studios, myself, Jay Hebert Studios, and Insanity Works Studios, along with a few others. Fighter Fest, all coverage on my channel. Check it out right now. Retro Wrestling Review Series, SummerSlam 92, 2000, and 2002, all on the Wrestling Fortune 44 Incorporated channel. You can check out our podcast timeline on the Jeff Hardy situation over on my channel. You can check out my NASCAR Thunder 2004 Let's Play on my friend Casey's channel. You can also check out our Gold Rush watch-along on my friend Casey's channel. You can check out our collab stream featuring ATW View and the Wrestling Rundown on Noah and Owen's channel. You can check out my road to 100% on Super Mario Sunshine on Casey's channel, as well as WrestleMania 19 Revenge Mode on Casey's channel, the Indie Force episode 25 over on my channel, as well as AEW Blood and Guts, which is a watch party we did. If you haven't checked that out, I would highly do so. Obviously, the Jeff Meacham Network will be doing live coverage of Death Before Dishonor every weekend since its relaunch, AEW Spark on my friend Owen's channel. Check out our Super Mario Brothers Z voice acting dub on my channel. Both episodes are there right now. Every Tuesday, I actually created a live rounds intro. Definitely check that out if you haven't already. And, of course, WYW Immortal. I don't know if there are any fans that are in New Orleans that know about WYW Immortal. I know of a couple. So if you heard it from a guy named Hibiki TMD, that me. Hello. There you go.
All proceeds, once he gets monetized, go to get him some melatonin so his ass can sleep. Anyway.
Keep in mind, most of the stuff that I promoted have been in the can.
Got it.
There you go.
So there you go.
Scott, welcome.
I was smart.
The
Good to
best
see you,
place-
Yeah,
Scott.
right. I know all about canon stuff ahead of time. Scott, you're a little bit late, but welcome to the party.
Appreciate
Once
you,
we
Scott.
go off the air, feel free to go back and rewatch this. 5 good topics tonight. Noah, what have you got to plug tonight?
Again, it's always a pleasure being here with you, gentlemen, and thank you to everybody that constantly tunes in to this fun, organized, and yet still very unscripted platform that we've come to create and enjoy, known as the Open Mic Night. But if people want to know more about me, know this. I am just a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it!
Buy the shirt.
but I digress. Find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and at Foster1916 for all things wrestling. Shout out to my ATW family, of course, on Twitter. We'll be back with another ATW view, I believe, as we get closer to AEW All Out. I will be back later this week, of course, on the Jeff Beecham Network, which we also will plug and promote, bringing you play-by-play coverage and reactions, of course, on Death Before Dishonor, the next pay-per-view and the relaunch of Ring of Honor. And hopefully we finally get some sort of streaming or TV deal, too. As always, I like to conclude, there are no winners, no losers, no bears. There are just fans with own opinions for this passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another and respect each other. Protect your mentality, too. Don't let social media rule your life or dictate your fandom, especially, too. And just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. It's as simple as that.
Real quick, also, I want to promote this for you, Noah.
What's up?
Everybody go check out Noah and my friend Casey's coverage on the G1 Climax.
Oh,
Really
yeah.
awesome stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Really good stuff.
I
You guys
appreciate
did a
that. Thank you. Yeah,
bang-up
me and
job
Casey
there.
will definitely be doing more of that. Maybe after the first couple opening days, maybe halfway through. As literally the day 2 of G1 Climax 32 is literally 52 minutes away.
So there you go. Yeah,
Because during the
definitely check that out.
G1, sleep does not exist. At least
No.
not under a normal schedule.
Quick question for either Meacham or Noah, as you guys are a little bit more in tune with the no DQ side of things than I am. Are there going to be prediction shows this week for Reign of Honor?
I have not heard anything from Sheriff Riff, and considering how much I think he is aware of the product, despite how much AEW talent's involved, likely not. But on my Sipple channel, Sipple Studios, there will be at least me and Jerry Slaughter doing predictions for Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor, tentative time, live Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So stay tuned.
And
Okay,
of course,
'cause I was
we'll
gonna
have,
say-
we'll have our hour and a half lead into the Death Before Dishonor next Saturday to give our own
Right.
predictions. So there you go.
Right. What I was going to say is that if there was coverage over there this week for it, I know you do virtually every predictions podcast that there is on YouTube. You're going to be a busy man these next 2 weeks with Death Before Dishonor and then SummerSlam.
Oh, I'm well aware. And then I got Emergence in August for Impact Wrestling.
And Noah, did we decide about Flair's last match after I gave you that last match they announced?
If I can afford it, you can count me in.
I will do my best to get you the link since you helped me out with the AEW Ring of Honor link. I'll try to reciprocate because, man,
And I'm happy to be a part of it. Oh, and how could I be so stupid to forget about this for women's wrestling, damn it? NWA, freaking Camille, the women's tag team champions. How the hell did I forget her? I am so sorry. And yes, also, folks, there will be coverage here for NWA
74, yes, in August.
Or 4th,
Yes.
I believe. The 4th, yep. Watch. And that will be in August as well. Again, wrestling barely has any reprieve. I wonder how I even have time to sleep, but I digress.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Especially
Jeff?
how much I enjoy.
I know you plugged the Disney thing earlier. Do you want to throw up the collaborative graphics so we can
Well,
start going
I
through
was trying to
everything?
message you privately, but I couldn't get the thing to work. I actually went ahead and broke it down for you. That way we can give everything their own individual love here.
All right. Well, then, like James, I am a very busy man. I have got pretty much everything canned for the rest of July except for new release Saturday, the 30th, the day of SummerSlam, because that movie doesn't hit Netflix until the 22nd of July. So, can't review it and watch it until I can watch it.
It's true.
No.
But tomorrow, make sure you check out a brand new episode of The War Zone, the weekly acquisition report, where I show off the newest additions to my ever-growing movie library. And much to the chagrin of many people involved in my life, it somehow continues to keep growing. It's like the Energizer Bunny.
Yes.
It keeps growing and growing. This coming week, we've got Mulan, Pocahontas 2, Journey to the New World, and Tarzan for our look inside of the Disney Vault. Saturday, new release Saturday, once we step outside the Disney Vault.
Thank you,
Thor,
Genesis and Phil
Love
Collins, for
and
the
Thunder.
Tarzan soundtracks.
What's that?
Thank you, Genesis and Phil Collins, for the Tarzan soundtracks. Continue.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, legit, I get in depth with it on the show, but I want to say that out of the Renaissance period, next to the Lion King, like the Tarzan soundtrack is like number 2.
Right?
When you've got Elton John and Phil Collins doing your music, like everything else is just subsequential.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
JJ, I think you can account for this better than because knowing me. When I was doing my countdown to going to Disneyland in June, and I came on Tarzan Tuesday, Thursday, and I put the image of Tarzan and Jane in the Tarzan treehouse with "You'll Be in My Heart" as the backdrop. Does that song not just wreck your shit more than now you're a parent?
Little bit, yeah.
Like, why does that become a thing? I hate that. Like, every time I watch countdown, it's like, I can't be in my heart.
The emotional convey between
Yes.
mother and child or husband and wife.
Emotional damage.
Emotional, yeah, pretty much.
As
All
I
right.
was saying, though, once
sorry,
I
my bad.
exit out of
I
the
forgot.
Disney vault, you've got Thor: Love and Thunder for new release Saturday. Of course, there will be another episode of the War Zone next Sunday.
Yes.
We've got Ask the Dads this coming Monday, July 18th, 4 o'clock. We'll be live, baby live. Another opportunity for you guys to ask us whatever you want, be it wrestling related, non-wrestling, movies, music, whatever. Last week we did like one segment of wrestling talk. Everything else was other stuff. It was so cool to do an Ask the Dads where wrestling wasn't the primary focus.
It's definitely a refreshing Monday, to say the very least.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I hope you have yours loaded for Tuesday.
I'm ready. Yep.
Tuesday, of course, will be the anchor show for the Jeff Meacham Network, Talk Wrestling. They had the 15th anniversary celebration this past Tuesday because Aaron Rift wasn't going to be available for this evening's broadcast.
Yes.
So if you haven't already checked it out, make sure you go and check that out. Frankie Kazarian made a special guest appearance on Talk Wrestling. You never know who will show up. I saw Big Vito on the No DQ review today. Who knows might pop in on Talk Wrestling this coming week.
Hey, it's one of those things where I put the link out there. People want to click on it and pop in. I'm not going to refuse them unless they're outright douchebags.
There
you know
you
who
go.
you are if you are. So anyway.
Wednesday, as always, will be the Greg Cherry Show, both here on the Jeff Meacham Network as well as obviously over on the Greg Cherry brand. Thursday, we're dark, right?
Nope. Well,
no,
we are, but Greg's not.
Okay, Thursday over on the Greg Cherry brand, the Jack of All Trades, first ever tag team episode.
Yes, looking forward to it. And then, of course, the big one, a week from tonight.
Yes. Ring of Honor.
Go! Let's freaking go! Claudia versus Jonathan Gresham! But not digress. Oh my gosh, let's
no. Don't digress. Be all the excited. Seriously.
Bring the excitement that I can't bring.
As a play-by-play guy, I have to control my excitement.
Yes.
But I'm not going to be able to be there to bring the excitement. So bring some of that excitement for me.
Yes.
I've got no way to watch Ring of Honor. I probably won't be on until the post-show open mic night.
Yep.
I will be sitting here.
Thumbnail, by the way.
I will be sitting here. I'll be watching your guys' live stream so I can at least keep up to what's happening, even though I can't see the action. I can hear you guys calling it and describing it. The same way that I watched Forbidden Door. So you guys do such an amazing job on those. That is how I know what happens on those pay-per-views.
5 championship matches right now has been booked for Death Before Dishonor. All Ring of Honor championships. Nothing else so far. What the world are they going to add this Wednesday?
Bro,
I was so skeptical. I was so nervous when Tony first announced he was buying the company. I really was unsure about what we were going to see because there's so much unknown still about what we're going to see. But as they've announced who's coming back, as they've announced who's
working within
the two companies, it's turned out to be something that's going to be really special. And I'm very much now looking forward to whatever they bring us because I was such a fan of Ring of Honor. I was just dismayed I couldn't get a consistent chance to watch it on the regular. So I'm glad I get to do that. I hope the TV deal whatever it materializes as is set soon because we need something. But then,
Yeah.
JJ,
Honestly,
you mentioned
it's the only thing that's holding Ring of Honor back right now is the fact that they
It
don't have
literally
that TV
is at this
deal.
point. It literally is.
And going back
I'm
to
of
our
the mind-
conversation, hold on a second, Jeff. Going back to our conversation 2 weeks ago in the post Money in the Bank open mic night,
Yeah.
Right.
do we even need a TV deal or should it just be a streaming deal?
Streaming.
You know, talking about what's
Hey.
been going on and how viewed Money in the Bank was, and the ratings just aren't what
Yeah.
they used to be during the awards. Should it just be a streaming deal?
At this point, cable and satellite are becoming irrelevant forms, outdated forms
Yeah.
for media attention. The money is just not there because the audience is so easily connected to find this content through cheaper means at a fraction of the price. It's
I
not
would-
worth it.
I would almost
HBO Max
rather
is where to
them
go.
do. I would almost rather them do what they used to do with like WCW and like once a month film 4 episodes and just have it be an exclusive Hulu series. And
Right.
each week an episode drop. And like when week 2 drops, they're doing another set of tapings. So that once episode 4 drops, you've got already up to 8 canned.
Well, I mean,
And then
Impact
when
Wrestling
6 drops,
falls
you've got
to
up to
the product.
12 canned, you know?
Yeah.
And just work it like that. Do a month worth of tapings at once and just make it a Hulu original series. Every week you got a brand new ROH.
Impact Wrestling and AEW Dark literally do that. They tape a bunch in a single session and they play it out over several weeks. And both of which are accessible on YouTube, while one of them is actually put on Access TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There
It's gonna
you
be
go.
interesting.
And
It's gonna
then-
be interesting. Oh, by the way, real quick, if Claudio wins this, you guys, if he breaks the world title curse, you guys realize that means that that the Blackpool Combat Club is going to have 3 world titles in their possession.
I'm here for it.
That's
It's same.
Claudio
I'm just-
Moxley.
Castagnoli-
Moxley has 2 right now.
technically, yes.
Claudio
He's in WWE,
Castagnoli has
WCW
been a
too.
world champion before. He
Yeah,
was
he-
Pro Wrestling Gorilla World Heavyweight Champion.
Right, but
yeah.
not Ring of Honor. Not
No,
Ring
no.
of Honor.
No,
But he
but
should be.
No, but I'm just saying he has been a World Heavyweight Champion before.
I know.
So it's not like there's this curse upon him.
No.
It's just not a title that is as acknowledged as the NWA, the Impact, the ROH, those other
Right.
titles.
And of course, Jeff, as you know, the NWA, they're doing the chase for the gold right now to figure out the new number 1 contender for the NWA 10 pounds of gold. And we just had Kylan King versus Allison Kay, and we now know who sets up for Camille. Here we go again.
And you're talking about contenders to titles. NXT is supposed to have a 20-woman battle royal to see who's going to fight Mandy next. Bailey's teasing that she may appear in it.
I'd be okay with that.
Bailey?
Yeah,
Why not?
she's ready for a comeback.
Yeah, that's a reversal.
Josh mentioned in the comments way back in the chat before he
Same
took
as
off
Bailey.
for the night that he was supposedly announced for SummerSlam. What if she comes back on NXT, works a small program with Mandy just to kind of like get back in the swing of things before coming back to the main roster? I'd be all about that.
I mean, honestly, people think that Bailey should be back on the main roster because Raw and SmackDown need that sort of star power, and I could agree to a degree. But if you're going to try and do something with this NXT,
Yeah. I mean,
Bailey
you figure
might be
Natalia,
the
you
one
figure
person relatable enough with her character, heel wise now versus face originally, that could actually work to take the towel off man.
Natalia and Dolph both have come down here recently to kind of help elevate Cora Jade and Braun Breaker respectively.
Yeah.
Could
Fair enough.
Bailey be in line to help boost Mandy?
There you go.
We'll find out on Tuesday.
So
You will, not my NXT.
The next time you'll see all 4 of us together, as far as covering anything besides post Ring of Honor Open Mic Night, of course, will be SummerSlam.
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 The final PLE that James is going to be involved in.
Yes.
It's going to be a somber day to say the least,
Yes.
but we understand his decision to step away from WWE PLEs, even
Can't
the
blame
Big
you there.
Four, But honestly, I feel like me and Noah have built up enough of a rapport that we'll be able to carry him in your absence. As
Yeah,
long
you
as you're
guys-
still
you guys-
down as long as you're still down to come into the post-show open mic nights, or maybe even into the pre-shows on occasion, just to give your 2 cents.
Yeah, hey,
We've
if
got you
I'm
covered.
gonna come on open mic nights,
He gets 5 cents. He can afford that now.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can. Also, like,
Hey, I'm trying to not have him go broke, you know.
Oh, I
Give you
gotcha.
2 cents, he still got 3 cents for the
That's
next one.
I need to keep my brain cells in check as well as my financial situation. Anyway,
We all need to do that. What are you talking about, boy?
yeah, that's true. Real quick, also, you guys could also stream this on my channel still. If I'm coming into open mic,
It's on there.
That's fine by me.
It's on there. It's all good. It's all good.
Again, Jeff Meacham Network. If Impact Wrestling is the mecca of the professional wrestling industry, Jeff Meacham Network is the mecca of the internet wrestling industry at this point. Look how many channels he's got here. And I appreciate Jeff. Like I said, this is all fun for me.
And then definitely on my channel, definitely with me along for the ride, Noah, if we can get him hooked up, we will be, oh boy, covering that. Because I'll tell you what, I don't know if you guys are following along with the posts from this particular area of the internets. The last match they announced is a legacy match. Representing the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton and his son, accompanied by Robert Gibson, versus Brock Anderson and Brian Pillman Jr. with Double A representing the Horsemen.
Nice.
That's gonna be the semi-main. It has to be.
That's the then and the now freaking colliding with.
And
if you do not have the Horsemen in at least a semi-main on a Jim Crockett Promotions card,
right?
You're booking about as good as turning Cora Jade heel a week after winning the titles with Roxanne.
Horseman versus Rock and Roll as the lead-in to Ric Flair's last match. Can we just call 86, please? Like, hello.
Don't give them ideas that might have Brock Anderson turn on Brian Pillman. Don't.
Right. or do they wear
as long as I get to see that Anderson spine buster, that's all I care about.
The spine on the pine.
It's so crazy. If you watch the special they're doing as far as the lead-in, like in talking about Flair's last match, the actual thing they're airing on the Ad Free Shows platform, and then on Fight TV later in the week, Brock looks so much like Arn. I had to double take for a second. I really did.
Oh yeah. The first time I saw him, I was like, "Holy crap! If that is not the spitting image of his papa."
Seriously, and just seeing his.
Go ahead.
Seeing his image pop up with Pillman, and then the backdrop being the Horseman music that from '98, I was like, oh my god! So
right,
that was cool shit.
I was
and then Monday they're going to announce Flair's opponent.
Flair probably looked at Brock Anderson. And he's like, Arn, you're not retired. Oh boy!
I was going to say, and we would be remiss to not mention that on Thursday, the 28th, Jeff and I will be having our definitive rankings of the top 10 Horseman incarnations.
Working on it. Hang on.
And just a spoiler alert, Paul Roma is not in the worst incarnation, nor is Sid, who literally tried to stab Arn Anderson backstage.
I still can't believe you don't have Sid in the worst.
When you see what the rankings are, I think you will understand why.
Oh, I'm going to be listening to this at work.
But we are looking forward to doing this, presenting this. I don't remember if we're doing this live or if we're canning this.
Up to you, brother, at this point.
But I am looking forward to doing this. When we first talked about having this show going up around November, I'm the one who came up with the rankings.
Yep.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
I submitted them to Jeff, and I was like, this is what I think. And he was like, I can't argue with you.
No, you can't. Nope.
So for me, the guy who was wrestling was the furthest thing from my thought during the entire run, essentially, of the Horsemen. Like, my Horseman was Flair, Arn in the managerial role, Mongo, Benoit, Malenko. That was my Horseman, like literally the final incarnation.
That is a pretty damn good incarnation.
For me to go but my point being is that for that to be my knowledge of the Horsemen, and for me to come up with the top 10 and get stamp of approval from Jeff on it, that makes me feel like I did my work right. Because
That means
no,
you're approved.
you don't understand. Like the minute that Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen DVD dropped, I was on a bus to Circuit City, bought it. On a bus back from Circuit City, DVD in my player, I was watching, doing homework.
That is
To
still.
this day, it is one of my favorite WWE produced bio DVDs of all time.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Because it gave me all that knowledge and history about the greatest stable ever, period. Fight me on it.
If it wasn't for the Four Horsemen, the stables that came to follow, that followed a similar design, not necessarily by identity, but by maybe, mentality, by membership, by the amount of members, by the change-outs, none of those would actually exist, in my opinion. And this is coming from a guy born in 1992 that loves pro wrestling, had to go back and do it. Again, if it wasn't for Jeff teaching me about the NWA, I probably would have known Dooley Squad probably about the Horsemen.
There you go.
Yeah.
Here's the deal.
So that's why I'm looking so forward to this. Go ahead, Jeff. I'm sorry I keep stepping on you.
No, you're good. You're fine, dude. It's whatever. I like into this. You guys all know very much. I've said it many times. When I finally take my last breath and they drain the fluids, I'm going to bleed out black and white and red. It's going to be a thing because the NWO is my bread and butter. They always have been. They always will be. But I do acknowledge the greatness and the legacy and the symbol of excellence. Always.
You can't deny that. Any wrestling fan cannot deny this. If you don't know this, but you've seen this, you owe it to yourself to find something or YouTube something regarding freaking this.
I will say this, and then we'll try to let everybody go night, especially me, because I gotta be up at freaking 4:00 or 3:30. Whatever the hell it is.
I'm just gonna watch G1 in 30 minutes, but go ahead.
That too, yeah. If y'all want to watch G1 Climax, please do that. Give New Japan all the love. They need that shit too.
It's your first time. You just freaking go. But I digress. Go ahead, Jeff.
So I have to definitely put over Dick Bourne for having this collection of books that led me. When JJ brought this up, I'm like, oh, dude, let's do this. And I co-signed on it partly because it wasn't far off after rereading and absorbing all the history and remembering everything about the history of the Horsemen. I was like, dude, you hit it spot on. So there is that.
Yeah,
the second thing, the Horsemen DVD is probably the greatest WWE biography release that you will never see again.
No.
They won't put that.
Because it came out in April 2007.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
So, 2 months, two and a half months later, it was in the ether. It never happened.
Pretty much.
But I got it. JJ's got a copy, and
oh yeah.
And like, if I can find a way, if I had the technology know-how to upload that to anywhere but YouTube, so I don't get my ass pinged, do it in a heartbeat. Because it's that good, and that it's one of those that most of these WWE they're puff pieces that kind of rewrite history. The Horseman one is spot on.
Yeah.
And I think that's because they had Flair and Arn pretty much helping produce that shit.
Yeah, you figure how many Horsemen came back for that? The only Horseman that could have been contacted at the time, because you figure Sting was still with TNA, so that was, and they weren't talking enough where it was going to be a thing at that point.
Right.
The only Horseman. What's that?
Said same with Jarrett.
Yeah, Jarrett too.
So yeah, but okay. So, well, depending on who you ask, Jarrett was or wasn't. We think he was, for the record. But as far as the only Horseman of any significance that was not asked back that should have been, I think, was there's two. Sid, and I think that's because Arn was heavily involved in production. There was still a lot of heat there. And then I'm not sure where Mongo was at in his life at that point, so he wasn't on the DVD. Right. Everybody else was back. Everybody else. I mean, I heard they talked to Lex, but Lex was still kind of in legal trouble at that point. But everybody that could come back did come back, and it was really cool to see some of those guys talk after all this time. It was really cool to see the perspective on the DVD, and I hope that our special can do it enough justice where we can talk about the Horsemen and without shitting on the worst ranking and without hobbing the knob of the greatest group, but just we'll give a unique perspective and then try to explain why they are the greatest faction of all time. And JJ mentioned we were going to do this in November because that's around the time that Starrcade would usually happen, but with Flair's last match coming up in July at the end of this month and everything going on in Nashville, including an on-stage Horseman reunion Starrcade cast, God, I'd love to be there for that. It's one of those things where, you know what, the timing's right, let's do it.
Make some money on it.
I do have to say, in complete sarcasm, incorrect. The actual greatest Horseman incarnation was the Fortune 4. I win the Q&A. Fuck you.
I'm going to leave you with this as we
kidding.
wrap up.
Yes.
I'm going to leave you with this as we wrap up. If Paul Roma can be recognized as a Horseman, so can Jeff Jarrett. Goddammit.
Absolutely.
Amen. Yeah.
4, James
Hey,
Hebert.
wait, that means that Flair was a part of NWO, though.
Huh?
Think about it. That means Flair was a part of the NWO because he associated in the WWE incarnation.
He associated, but he never officially joined. That was like Rick Steiner. He was on the peripheral. He never actually was inducted.
They actually announced Jarrett as a Horseman in the ring.
On Nitro was a thing.
Yep.
But we'll talk
For
about it on the
James
20th.
Hebert, for the simple man Noah Foster, for the man, the myth, the legend, Jeff motherfucking Meacham.
Oh.
I am the Renegade JJ Williams. Raymond, hope you have a happy birthday next week. Thank you all for tuning in to Open Mic Night. We will see you on all of our various channels throughout the course of the week, and we will all see you again right here on whichever channel you're watching this after Death Before Dishonor next Saturday night. Have a good evening.
We're now